I don't know if I can actually play music on here, but that's okay. I don't want to open my notes tab, you son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. What's up, people? Let's move this over. You're probably like, Seth, what the hell does that even say? What the fuck? What the fuck? Okay. What up, party people? Let me get my notes up here. Oh, Daniel. Daniel. I don't need that up. You can get rid of that. Google Chrome. Move that out of here. Okay. So, let's see here. We're going to minimize you quite a bit because I don't need you up all the time. Ba-ba. Do-do-do-do-do. Blah, 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 blah. Actually, we're going to make that just a little bit bigger for the people in the back who can't read. So you're also like, what the fuck does that say, Seth? But what does it mean? Also, my head, super glossy right now. So we're going to fix that. Ugh. With a Thomas College beanie? I don't know. I kind of like my hair as it is. I kind of like it as it is. Okay. Let's share this bitch. We are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and the internet. Happy freaking Wednesday. It's payday for me. I don't know about y'all. Which means it's also bill day. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Totally fucked, right? Rewrite the Stars. Why is that song in my fucking skull, bro? My goodness gracious. Sakes alive. Oh my god. Oh my god. KK. Do 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 do. Well, hello there, Micah. How are you? Wow, Micah, what is up? Long time no see. So, I guess I'll get started because people are here. People being Micah, who is in this. Whatever. Anyway, so what this stream is, I'll get into it. And I think one other, maybe. They're probably a bot. I told Daniel when he was freaking out, like, don't tell me the number of people watching. I just pretend that they're bots, that they don't exist, that they're all fake, and you don't have to worry about them. I feel like I need a baseball cap. I feel like my skull is beep boop. It's me, a bot. Yeah, I feel like that all the time. I'm gonna get a hat. I'll be right back. Micah, entertain yourself. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, people. I found a hat. And Mackenzie agrees, my head glistening over here. I love my hair, but good lord. Oh yeah, that helps quite a bit. Oh. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And it really blends in with the back of the wall. So I'll hold up. Anyway, I digress. So, the purpose of this stream, kind of podcasty like, kind of, wow, that airplane is just next door. The purpose of this stream / podcast / TED Talk, I realized, Micah, in our stream 2 weeks ago, that it was all fine and it was all good. We got a lot of people to come and support it, a lot of people to come and watch it. They liked it, that sort of thing, which is awesome. Nobody knows what the fuck is happening, though. Player included. For the viewers, they probably are like, this is so cool, this is awesome. Where are we? Who are we? And how did we get here? So, my plan for tonight was to kind of deep dive, or at least on the surface level of stuff, go through our campaign, our players, who we are individually. I'll say our first names, but I won't name drop everybody, or for that sort of what's the word, confidential, I guess, unless you want your name out there. But for everybody's sake, not everyone is comfortable with that. To just let everybody know who we are, where we're from, or at least where this takes place anyway. And like what we're about. Because I know that I update you all in our group chat, Micah. But this is a big chunk. Oh my gosh. Rock. It's Rock. It's Micah. It's Micah. Can I turn you on? There we go. Okay, I'm gonna.
Survivor starts.
Oh, Survivor starts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Doesn't come on until 8.
Gotcha. Properties. Let me do this real quick. I'm gonna see if that works. All right. So I was just saying in the stream, Micah, that the whole point of this is to update everyone in what we're doing, because we had a good chunk of people who came and watched, but they probably have no idea what's happening.
Yeah.
So I figured either myself or Daniel and I, or all of us, or those who can show up, would take some time and kind of just let people know who we are, who our party is, like who we play. So I pulled up our campaign. I pulled up all of Daniel's extensive notes on what we're doing. So I guess we'll just go first thing. So our campaign takes place in the kingdom of Salandrin. The players, us, include a group of individuals. So our friend Stella, Micah, who is here with me, Haley, and Hallie. Stella plays Ada. She is the Eladrin Glamour Bard. She's a slash grave cleric. Haley plays Azealia the Druid from the. She's a Circle of the Moon Druid. This still says that you are Eldon.
Oh, it's funny.
The Ranger, which is incorrect. Hallie plays Zephyrus, the Air Genasi swashbuckler rogue. So Micah plays a character now named Rock. They are a. Are you a gnome?
Yeah, I'm a half gnome, half tiefling.
Sick. And what class are you? You're a sorcerer, right?
Yes, I'm a wild magic sorcerer.
Sick. And I play Grog, who is a Goliath, Path of Ancestral Guardian Barbarian, and then dual classing in Paladin. Yeah, so I'm going to just kind of read the quick backstory of the campaign that Daniel has put up on D&D Beyond, which I can post that stuff, I think, to the public at some point, but I figured just for this, I'd just read it, and then if people want to later, they can check it out. So,
yeah, I've been thinking about making because I know we have all of our reference stuff, but I was thinking of how can we put that. So I was thinking about maybe we want to make just a real basic website or something, and I was that's something that I'm very comfortable with.
Yeah.
So we can make it all nice. We can have it for us, but then we can be mitigate between
that's so
posting
cool.
Things and when we have notes and when we don't. So
that would be so cool to have a official Cluehbridge Six website.
Yeah,
that would be
cool.
Sick. That way too, when we post stuff, because we have stuff that we post on Discord, we have stuff that we post in our group text, Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we put everything in one thing, it happens at work all the time.
Yeah.
You get sent stuff in Microsoft Teams or in an email or whatever, and it just gets lost. I tried to hyperlink all of Daniel's stuff into a notes tab on my phone, but I can't keep up with it all the time. But oh well.
Yeah, totally.
But that's a good idea. So, approximately 20 years ago, before our story begins, a rift opens in the elven capital of the city of Enlas Honor, flooding the region with fiends from the Nine Hells and sap life from the surrounding lands. It is said that a warlock, Shatha, was promised ultimate power if she opened a gate to the Nine Hells for the armies of Asmodeus, the evil god of tyranny. And Daniel, if he at some point shows up, he told me he would quietly correct me of my grammar and how I pronounce shit. So, audience, I'm sorry if I can't read correctly. Recently, the Cluehbridge Six learned that this was not the case. The Silveranth Empire attempted to summon an entity known as the Answer and bind it to a warforged body. That failed, and the avatar of the Answer opened the rift that sundered the land. For the next 2 years, the people of Solandrin banded together to save their world from annihilation. The Warforged served their purpose, fighting and dying on the front lines to contain the invading hordes. With the Warforged armies sacrificed, the other races were able to muster enough of their own armies to drive back the invasion, and the elves were able to seal the rift in their city. While the people celebrated victory, all was not safe, nor has it remained so. The scourge left much of the eastern continent fallow, dead and volatile. Small rifts and gates still appear in the wastes that still cover much of the land, leaking more enemies from other planes. After the rift was sealed, the younger races gave the Empire an ultimatum: release us or be destroyed. The Empire relented, abandoning all of their outposts and isolating themselves in the remnants of their homeland as the Kingdom of Silveranth on the southeastern edge of the continent. The wastes are now slowly being reclaimed through cleansing of the lands from north by the Order of the Seraphs, while Silveranth and the If Lufia work together, work together to push from the south. It is known that the High Elves are working towards reclaiming their old capital, but have denied having any interest in re-establishing the Empire. The inhospitable land still tears upon brief gates to other planes where fiends and other enemies cross the material plane. Gouts of ash from fissures blacken the sky and poison the air, and surges of wild magic make spellcasting dangerous. While the vast majority of the High Elves remain in Silveranth, some leave to lend their knowledge and expertise in other kingdoms, but do so quietly, as the people of Salandran have mixed opinions of the Empire. Some resent the Empire for its throttling of progress. Some are apathetic, and yet others forgive them entirely for their transgression. The army of tens of thousands of Warforged now are a fraction of their number. Their corpses still can be found on the old battlefields. Their metal bodies, fused by fire, now are statues that remind those who see them of their sacrifice. Those Warforged that remain have mostly found a new calling and reject violence. Free to express themselves beyond just a number, they have adopted new identities, augmenting themselves to present themselves as both Warforged and the race they identify with most. The younger races, now freed from their oppressors, split the lands into countries that were former High Elf kingdoms within the Empire. Wow. Freaking deep shit. So that is like, boom. That's the global setting, I guess, of where we're at right now. Thinking of like the country of Westeros in Game of Thrones. Like, that's what's happening right now, and where our party fits in, we will get into in just a minute. Trying to think too, what else would be important to talk about? I don't want to go into the timeline because he went way into it.
I know that there's, like, in general for our party, kind of the overarching goal of, like, because we're in the Feywild currently, that when we head back to Salandran, that there's kind of, like, an outline of all the things that have happened because so much has happened.
Yeah.
So I know that he's been, like, working on this document for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So.
No, that's important. Yeah. Let's go to his Feywild doc. I swear I saw it somewhere. Oh, maybe it's in my Google Doc folder that he sent. Google Drive. Salandran meta information. Let's open that. Feywild. Oh, you don't want to read my cover letter? That'd be boring. Chronicles of Cluehbridge Six, Salandran meta information, Feywild stuff. Sure, we'll open that too. Allegheny. Oh, yeah, that's his personal thing. I don't want to read that. Okay. Let's go over the Feywild stuff. Feywild's friends that's a one-shot stuff, isn't it? One-shot setting. Yeah, that's Ada's stuff. Good lord. Oh, actually, there's a whole other 11-page document we can talk about. Okay. This document exists as a reference for what your character knows. Great. The calendar standardizes the founding of Silveranth Empire 1025 years ago by astronomers and logicians. The year is divided into 12 months. Every month is 4 weeks. A week is 7 days. Great. If you want, I can go down that. The 12 months are deep winter, rains, spring, blossoms, summer, midsummer, late summer, the reaping, autumn, deep autumn, winter, and midwinter. This sounds awful. It's hot for a long time, and then it's cold.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's like how I feel about, like, the regular weather.
Yeah.
It was like hot, and then you get like a few weeks of like, oh, it's nice, and then it's very cold.
Oh, this. Okay. So this history and cosmology. The first age, and then in parentheses, he has creation. Micah, I think you have access to all this stuff too, so feel free if you want to just throw stuff out.
Yeah, totally.
The first age is creation. In the beginning, the gods came upon a barren world and shaped it to their liking. Atlas, the father of the giant kin. Atlas is the deity that Grog, my character, worships. Carried the world on his shoulders while the Titans brought the four elements of fire, water, air, and earth together to form the elemental planes as a source of raw material for their creation. The gods of life and creation made the people in their image, but these new beings were imperfect, able to be swayed to evil by the fiendish gods of trickery, war, and cruelty. The four elven gods and their children were the first to leave the material plane, taking some of their creations to the Feywild, a newly made plane of life and whimsy and delight, became the home of the Eladrin elves, like Ada and all sylvan creatures. In all things, though, there must be balance. Thus, the Raven Queen, the fourth elven god, took it upon herself to create a dark reflection of the material plane. There, in the Shadowfell, entropy began to pull at the vitality of God's creation on Salandrin, cursing these new beings with mortality. The second age, this is the introduction of magic. With the newborn species now in peril, the elemental titans gave the mortals access to the Weave, the raw magical energy that binds and flows through all things. To protect themselves in this new age of magic, channeling the Weave, the first arcane magic users were able to emulate their creators, some to a frightening level of prowess. I gotta zoom in on... How do I... Nope, control, nope, shift, nope. How the fuck do I zoom in on a Mac?
You can, if you're on a trackpad, you can zoom in with two fingers, or you can also use Command Shift Plus.
Oh my god, that's so dumb. Command Shift Plus. Ah, my gosh. Macs are wild. Anyway, prowess. Furious at this transgression, the gods locked the Titans in their planes, where their descendants could only create their own half-elemental offspring, the Genasi, to offer a fragment of their primordial magic to the material plane. As the Weave was now accessible to those mortals with the strength to siphon arcane power, the remaining gods left the mortal plane as their influence waned. They ordered their new domains in a great wheel that encircles the material plane. The good and noble gods above allowed their most devoted priests and holy warriors to channel their divine magic to balance the power of other gods with ill intent from the lower planes. As time went on, fewer mages knew the secrets of controlling the Weave, and mortals with innate powers through fantastical lineages were less common. The people began to seek a natural way to touch the Weave. They tapped into the primal energy of the moons, stars, and even the land itself to craft spells and rituals that would protect the wilds and all living creatures, forming the first Green Wardens that would go on to keep the secret groves of the Wood Elves safe from harm for centuries to come. Those Green Wardens will be important for Azealia, one of our other players, Haley. That's kind of like her whole shtick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I gotta head out.
Okay. Bye, Micah.
See you later.
Thanks.
Yeah. See you later.
Bye. Micah's great. You're lovely. The third age, or chaos. Without the direction of the gods, kingdoms rose and fell. People suffered while others prospered, and the conflicts that occurred were in the name of fame, money, and power. Many magical items found today are relics from this age. Only recently have the common or uncommon and some rare items have been replicated for sale by artificers of Darefaldur and wizards of Cluehbridge, which will come into play later. The brief times of peace led to bounty, but strife was ever present in other ways. While the gods were known to have retreated to their own realms beyond Salandrin, the people of the world began to see dragons, monstrosities, and aberrations threaten the continent. Humans built fortified cities to protect themselves behind thick walls, while the dwarves and gnomes went deeper into mines and caves to protect themselves. Most elves retreated to the dense forests and jungles of the world, but some ventured further below the land than even the dwarves and gnomes were willing to travel. As these dangers grew, brave bands of monster hunters formed to protect the people. Some disappeared into the lairs of mighty beasts, while others returned triumphant, showering with praise and adoration. Adoration, oh my gosh, adoration. Their names are lost to time, as this age of monsters was an era of chaos and disorder where much knowledge of the past was lost. The Order of the Seraph was formed in this age as holy crusaders that hunted devils, demons, and all people accused of consorting with fiends. The Order of the Seraph is an important group too. They're actually kind of like one of the big introductions into the group that our party faces, actually well before I even got there. The Fourth Age, Order. Rising from this chaos 1,000 years ago, the High Elves established the Silveranth Empire and made all other creatures on the continent their subjects, claiming that their just and gentle rule would guide the continent to a safe and prosperous future for all. During the Imperial rule, the High Elves restricted magical and technological experimentation and advancement. They oversaw all development of new technologies and kept their knowledge to themselves, only releasing it to serve the well-being of the younger races. Any children born who displayed any ability to touch the weave were relocated with their family to elven cities where they were trained to be the perfect magical servant, soldiers, and arcanists of the Empire. The Harpers. The Harpers appeared during this age and around 100 years ago, attempting to rally the people of Solandrin to free themselves, but were unsuccessful. Around 50 years ago, the elven wizards of House Galaborn began introducing sentient constructs they called Warforged all across the continent. They wanted the Warforged to act as a standing army that would be a shield that would protect the people from threats on the material plane and beyond. Most people considered this an aggressive occupation of their lands, which had previously been overseen by the Empire from secret fortifications they built across the continent. The Calamity War. A rift opened in the High Elf capital city of Enlace Honor on 12 Reigns 1000, which is just a unit of time, flooding the region with fiends from the lower. If I went over the calendar, it would have made sense, but I didn't. So that's on me. But just know it was a long ass fucking time ago. Excuse me. Flooding the region with fiends from the lower plains and sap life from the surrounding lands. It is said that a warlock, Satha, was promised ultimate power if she opened a gate to the Nine Hells for the armies of Asmodeus, the evil god of tyranny. For 2 years, the people of Solandrin band together to save their world from annihilation. The Warforged served their purpose, fighting and dying on the front lines, and contained the invading hordes. And then it kind of goes into what I had just talked about. Yep. And then there's just some sections going over like different regions of the continent. So, and we can include a picture of the map. Maybe that will be the thumbnail of this video. Just kind of going over the different continents, and our players are all from different parts of the continent. Like mine, Grog, he is from this area known as the Spine, which is literally a mountain range that cuts the continent essentially in half, which I'll get into in just a minute. But the first up is the Kingdom of Duzmela. The Western Hold. A kingdom whose people believe honor, devotion, and collaboration is the key to a fulfilling life. While humans... I'm also a bot. Thank you. A kingdom whose people believe honor, devotion, and collaboration is the key to a fulfilling life. While humans make up the majority of people here, many of the other races intermingle freely. The Wood Elf tribes of the Flat Brawn Wood tribe would trade freely with outsiders, and the dwarves from the kingdom of Vithorum of wow Vig Thorim to the north supply the country with the raw materials the artisans of the country used to create masterworks that they present as gifts to the guests to travelers and their lands. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. Maybe I'm a robot. Maybe I can't speak perfect English. The Lord's Alliance was founded here, now working to ensure the safety and prosperity of the cities and other settlements of Salandran by forming a strong coalition against the forces that threaten all. Eliminate such threats by any means necessary whenever and wherever they arise. The Kingdom of Brosthar, home of the Quartz Palace. The dwarves that live in their mountain cities of the Sunset Peaks are hard-working people. Those non-dwarves that live on the foothills and along the Gantona Pass that leads to the capital, Vigthorum, are lovingly called Tall Dwarves by their underground countrymen. The magical tattoos that are now commonplace in Salandran originated here, with the more powerful ones being adaptations created by the university in the city of Cluehbridge, which is an important place. So fucking take notes, people. Take notes. The Spine. Okay. Oh, I love D&D. The Spine. Sometimes called the Unclaimed Kingdom. The Spine splits the continent of Salandran almost completely in half. The neck is a valley of numerous paths that create a mostly safe passage between Glassau and Aubernu. The free city of Darfolder is carved into the mountain of the most southern peak from which it takes its name. Shout out to all dwarves. Yeet. To tall dwarves. Jesus Christ. Short kings. That's what we call them in D&D. Short kings. Settlements of hardy folk who live in the colder northern region near the highest peak, Mount Zizek, reject Glassau's rule over them. Along the southern peaks, Goliaths can be found in their nomadic tribes, while the eastern foothills of those mountains maintain their old name of the Dire Lands, nearly inhospitable as it is the least protected region of Aubernu, where fiends and the like can leave the wastes. Here you go. Glissau. The Magistry of Glissau. Home to the bastion of magic and knowledge in Salandran, the country of Glissau, Daniel's gonna kill me, is ruled by Majo. What the fuck, Daniel? Why are you using words that I can't say? Basically, this ruler lives within the university capital, and the university is in the capital of Cluehbridge. The university's mage guard act as the private military and the guards that protect the towns that can afford the protection fee. The barest of the western countries, its lands are mostly marsh, scrubland, tundra, as it stretches towards the Spine. The Zentarum, now run by Cherry Blossom, has its base of operations here and has a continuous relationship with Magocracy. The Zentarum seeks to become omnipresent oh my god, Daniel. Wealthy and, most importantly, untouchable. I need to read a dictionary, read a glossary. I don't fucking know. It also doesn't help that you're using words that no one in the English language within the last 100 years uses. But goddamn it, I love it. The most efficient bureaucracy. Aubernu. Currently without a monarch and with its southern border besieged by incursions from the wastes, Aubernu is ruled by the patrician Constantine Lazar. Some believe they have purposely stalled the search for the prince, who vanished after leading a force to search the ruins of Anlas-Lenore. Much of the country was destroyed as the armies encroached, as the nobility and rulers of the kingdom sent their armies to protect the wealthy holdings and fortifications. An influx of commoners seeking refuge in the capital, Erismont, caused the city to fall into disorder as the war continued. Fuck Zentharim, all my homies. equals ruled by mages of the University of Cluebridge. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I hate this. All my homies hate the Zentharum. We do too. Wow, I forgot what the hell I was saying. As a reaction to the chaos, guilds in the city now keep the city working in peak efficiency. Dues paying assassins, librarians, bakers, and more keep the city orderly per the orders of the patrician. The Order of the Seraphs occupy the edge of the wastes in their 5 forts, purifying the ruined lands and ancient battlefields with holy rites. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here, Daniel. There's a lot of stuff. Silveranth, the Empire's remnants, the isolationist remnants of the Empire. Most High Elves stay here, but welcome those who display talent and willingness to work with the Elves to help them reclaim their former capital. And I guess I'll go over table rules with us. What does your character think about these places? Grog. So here's a cool thing about my character. He originally started as just a plain old Path of the Beast barbarian. He's a Goliath, so he's like 8 feet tall, and he's fucking ripped like I am in real life. So his kind of backstory, and we'll all kind of get into this as time goes on, and like when we do these little one shots or supplemental pieces. Grog is from the spine, which I just talked about. It's that part of the continent that kind of divides the rest of it in half. And his whole thing is they're a nomadic tribe. And so they kind of stuck to the spine. They just kind of followed that mountain range, following mammoth populations, wild game, and things like that to kind of sustain themselves. They didn't really meddle with stuff going on down there until these catastrophes happened, and these fiends and undead or whatever came through the rifts and started attacking everybody. That's when Grog and his whole tribe kind of dispersed. So Grog met up with a group of mercenaries who were then hired to go to these rifts and the wastes and basically fight off whatever was in their way. Demons, fiends, undead, monstrosities, whatever. He kind of has the mentality of every place is the same. Every place has people and money and monsters, and like he, until recently, in game he's like, I would say like 45 or 50 years old, and he spent a lot of time fighting and killing, pillaging, murdering. Like that's just kind of his thing. But he also did a lot of protecting and stuff like that too. He has a family that we'll get into later. And he's used to working with troops of people. Teams of like 10 or 20 or whatever. So he's used to having that kind of close-knit kind of team dynamic. He's kind of weary of outsiders. He was very standoffish at first when he met actually the party originally. So when we go into new places, even when we're in the Feywild like we are right now, he doesn't really know what the fuck to do. He kind of sees red all the time when he sees anything out of the ordinary. So like he's never left the material plane. He's never gone through the rift. He's only closed rifts. He's never stepped through. He's never gone anywhere. He's been all over. I mean, through his missions and campaignings and stuff, he's seen a lot of the continent, but not like this. So, as far as these places go that we're at right now, he's like, holy fuck. He's seeing rabbit folk, mole folk, snake folk. Like it's fucking weird to him. He's like, are these monsters? Like they look and talk like people, but like they don't look like people. But he can obviously tell the difference between a fiend and a fey folk, because the fiends are trying to fucking kill him. So I would just say these places, especially with elves, because they think that he's dumb. He's just a big muscular dude with an axe and a hammer, and they just think, oh, he's a brute. He doesn't think. He has no self-thought, but he is always listening, always watching. No astral plane. Nope. Oh man. Swipe to allow. I'm trying to allow. Gosh darn it. But yeah, good questions. And please, if you're watching this and you're like, Seth, I have so many questions, please shut them out. Because I want to know. I want to know. I need to know. And I think it's cool that you guys are taking an interest in this stuff. I want to kind of just go over table rules for like us as people, like in real life. So whenever you play D&D, and this just kind of goes out to an aside to anyone who's interested in playing D&D or has played D&D in the past and hated their experience or didn't agree with it right up front. So, and everyone may feel differently about session zeros. I think they're super important because you may know everybody in the party. You may not. When I joined this campaign 2 years ago almost, I knew one person. 1.5. I went to high school with one, and it's been like 10 years since I've seen him. So maybe 1 or 2 people. So we're a group of 6. Yeah, six people. Who they all have known each other and stuff like that. So a session 0, I think, is really, really important because you get to not only set the scene for what the campaign is going to be like or what it is, or maybe you just outline like, hey, this is the setting, this is where we're at, but you also get to go over who your characters are, what their backstory is a little bit, and stuff like that. But you also get to go over table rules, which I think is super important, especially like in an age now where like people have different opinions and they bring that stuff to the table, and like it for the smoothness of storytelling, like we don't want to say anything that may offend people or affect people in certain ways. I don't know everything about my party members, but I know that some things may be traumatic to talk about. So we like to bring that up in our table rules. Actually, Daniel was really great, and he created an anonymous Google form that we filled out, and he asked us like, you don't have to go in depth with this, but he asked us like 100 different questions of like, what are you okay with? What are you not okay with? Do you like blood? Do you like gore? Do you like talking about pillaging and murdering and all that stuff? I said, fuck yeah, like sure, let's talk about it. I love D&D for the storytelling and also just being able to hang out with my friends, because this is really my creative outlet, is streaming and doing this. So just being able to create a character, get into it, and share that experience with my friends is really cool. So we made up with table rules. So enthusiastic consent is one of the first things that we talked about. We're okay with this appearing in the game sessions and existing in world is PG-13 rated or PG-13 to R-rated content. PC playable characters, permadeath. We're okay with that. Significant NPC permadeath. That's happened already. One of our NPCs that the party has been with for a long time has been murked. There is a level of Princess Bride, level of like seriousness and also silliness. There are stakes and consequences to like our actions and our choices. And like shenanigans are always like, they're always okay. Like it's D&D and you're playing with your friends. Like I crack jokes all the time. I fucking derail Daniel, our DM, 100 times in a session, and it's only like 2 hours long. So, which is something that I have to work on. I really got to reel that shit in. So, and I'm sure he appreciates the Seth, shut the fuck up, kind of shit. Relationships, we're okay with romance on screen. / fade to black and between PCs and NPCs, violent conflict and or betrayal between PCs, which has almost come up. The violent conflict stuff, not the adult stuff. The bow, wow. Yeah, no, none of that. When it comes to RPGs, if I can't cause irreparable harm to the narrative with my awful decisions, I don't want it. Well, Baldur's Gate is definitely for you then. Also, hello. Also in Starfield, like you can just fucking murk people. Social and cultural issues we're okay with. I guess like in the game happening, not like in real life. I have almost finished it. Holy shit, dude. We're okay with fantasy-specific cultural issues, classism, police brutality, and sexism. We're not okay with that in real life, obviously, but in this setting, that's what we're okay with. Horror, bugs, blood, demons, rats, spiders, stuff like that. We're okay with that stuff. Mental and physical health stuff: claustrophobia, paralysis, freezing to death, heat stroke, starvation, thirst, natural disasters, severe weather, and terrorism. We're always cool with terrorism, right? Veils. Okay, if veiled or reference to quote-unquote off-screen, it may be okay on-screen, but would require discussions ahead of time. I have, as far as I can tell, 2 quests left before I go to the final encounter. Holy shit. Congratulations, Lettuce. Congratulations. That's awesome. You've been playing that shit for a long time. Okay, so we're okay with eyeballs, gore, body horror, cancer, explicit romance between PCs, sex fade to black, PC, NPC, sex, PC, oh my gosh, I'm not reading all this stuff. Physical abuse of any kind, racism, gaslighting, self-harm. Oh, we are okay with gaslighting. Sweet. It's important to go over all of this stuff. And then lines. This is hardline stuff, like we're not cool with that. Harm to animals or children, emotional or physical abuse between PCs, real world religion. We're not okay with homophobia, transphobia, or xenophobia. It's important to go over all of that stuff in session 0, because I would hate for you to get like 1 or 2 or 3 sessions in and you're like, or even a year in and shit comes up and you're like, oh fuck, like I'm not cool with that. Like that's not what I'm about. So I think taking notes beforehand, and this is all per person, per player. Like you have your own voice, your own opinions. So jotting some shit down that like you're okay with or not okay with or like are on the fence about is super cool, and telling your DM like, hey, I'm not cool with us talking about whatever. Subject A. They should take note of that. And if they continue to do that, fuck them. Leave. Any questions? Hello, Haley. How are you?
Hello.
Hello. You just missed Micah. Micah was here probably 20, 30 minutes ago. He's watching Survivor, so... yeah.
There it is.
Where do babies come from? That is my question. Well, when a mommy and daddy really love each other, they go to a place called Craigslist, and they put in something called credit card information. And then it arrives 8 to 9 months later via stork, which is a giant bird. And it flies overhead like Santa Claus. And it comes down the chimney. And then poof, baby. I saw it in a Disney movie once. They did it with elephants. Dumbo is the movie. Casey Jr.'s coming down the track with a smoky snack. No? Okay.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm. Okay. On to the 30-page document of notes. Thank you to Daniel. Wow, I really... Oof. I feel bad for Daniel having to talk for 2 hours. I'm talking for an hour, and I'm like, holy shit.
I don't know how he does it.
I have no idea either. My voice hurts. Okay. All right. So.
Just essentially listen to him talk.
Hmm?
Just essentially listen to him talk.
Yeah, I say words sometimes. I was actually just saying how I derailed Daniel at least 100 times. Mostly all the time. I do feel bad. It happens at work, too. Okay. We open in Alderdine, a small town in the kingdom of Calwaith, surrounded by trees and farmland. Its main feature is the Temple of Andreas, goddess of knowledge. The town was unusually busy as the return of two noble houses were camped on either side of the main road leading out of town. The red house of House Whitmore and the blue house of Lorenz signified a wedding was to take place, and our heroes arrived just as the final touches were being put into place for the ceremony. Daniel is in the document. Hi, bud. It's me, your DM. You're doing a great job, and I'm sorry for using an expanded vocabulary. Blame it on my extensive reading of fantasy. It's in bold. It's in fucking bold.
Amazing.
Big Brother is watching. He deleted it. It's all gone. Holy shit. Oh my god, I'm gonna piss my pants.
Watching right now, I would hope.
I would hope so. Oh, I should preface this chat. Also, real quick before I continue, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. It's awesome that you're all here. So I should preface this before I continue and get into this document. This is all of the notes that Daniel has taken thus far from the very beginning, session 1. I wish I could.
Almost 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Like, I joined.
January. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I joined like a year and a half ago. Or like a year.
Been here the whole time.
Yeah, Haley's been here the whole time. This group has. It was big, and then it was small, and now it's big again. Lore dump, yeah. Earth lettuce, love lore dump. Okay, so how big was the party originally? Was it 6 of you?
It was. Hold on. It was me, Stella.
Has Micah been there the whole time?
Nope. 1, 2, 3.
7.
Hold on. Hold on.
Sorry,
mess me up.
I'm reading Daniel's thing.
Me, Stella, 7. Yeah, I think it was 7. Me, Stella, Bruce, Aaron, Greg, and Ed. That was it. And
Wow.
Daniel? 7? And
Wow.
Daniel?
That's crazy. So yeah, this group has changed. There are going to be some names in here that we probably won't reference a whole lot in game, just because they're real people and now they're not playing.
Gone off on their own travels.
Yep. Which is totally fine. So in reading this, I will just throw out like they're a PC that no longer is here. So yeah.
They're cool characters though, and they served a purpose for when they were there. And Daniel, he wrote them out well.
Yeah. He didn't say, all right, see ya.
Bye. I leave.
Bye. Even with like Micah's character, like Micah's still playing, he's just changed characters.
Yeah.
So I think what Daniel does really well, and god damn it, Daniel. Feel free to include their name, address, and social security number. I don't think I want to do that. 000001. And that's for all of us. Anyway, I wish I met Daniel when I was like 15.
I know. I'm sorry, buddy. I connected you guys too late.
God damn it. God damn it. I text Daniel, I don't know, 5 times a week of just like, hey bro, thinking of this. Love you, bye.
You text Daniel more than you text your girl.
I also live with my girlfriend, but you're right. So we're always collaborating, bouncing ideas off of each other. He is really good about me just word vomiting ideas, and he's just like, I'm taking notes, I'm taking notes, I'm taking notes. That's such a good idea. That's a terrible idea. We shouldn't do this. Daniel says in the chat, Azealia, Ada, Aegis, Finnegan, Beauregard, Hogaz, and Quill. Wow.
Quill, that's right.
Yeah, I when I read this earlier today, I was reading some of these names, and I was like, okay.
Oh, Quill, Ian, we forgot someone. That's 8. Sorry.
Shit.
Interrupt.
No, you're good. I was reading these names, and I was like, okay, I've heard of these names, but I've only met 2 of them.
Yeah,
Ed and
they were all my
Hogaz.
college buddies.
Yes. I met Ed and the guy, who's the dude that played Hogaz?
Greg.
Greg.
That's why he always calls you Greg, because your character is Grog.
Mm.
Confusing for poor Daniel.
Poor dude. Okay. So yeah. What was I reading? Oh yes. The Red House of Whitmore and the Blue House of Lorenz signified a wedding was to take place, and our heroes arrived just as the final touches were being put into place for the ceremony. The next section, Aegis of House Galaborn traveled with Ada to support her playing at the wedding as one of the bards who had answered the call for musicians. And I said this at the beginning. I kind of addressed everybody in our current campaign, who we are, and our classes that we play. Ada is a bard cleric. Do you want to give like a quick backstory about who the original 7 people were?
Wait.
You're all fucking...
Daniel, write it down.
You're all traveling bands or some shit.
So essentially, the vibe was that we were... I'm an elf, and Ada's an elf. But we were like 2 elves and some bards. It was a very bardy group. Just making music and
traveling the world.
It's kind of how it started. Just that's just the dynamic of the people that I am friends with. They're all like music people. So they just all wanted to be bards, and it was really funny actually in the beginning with that. And Aaron, the one who played Beauregard, was an older man, and I can't remember. I think he was a human. I can't remember what he was though for class, but he's like our dad essentially. Like he was our teacher, like, and he just is so cool. And he has 2 young children, and it just didn't work out that he could make it to our sessions. But he's so fun, and he does the best voices. Oh my god! And just he was our favorite teacher. He's the reason we got through new media in general, as a degree, like pretty much just he's the reason that we stayed. He
led you through it.
Yeah. No, it was really fun, and so it was just a bunch of bards. He was a bard as well, I think. So
Daniel is in the document editing it. He should just get in the call.
Daniel, why don't you just join us?
You should just join us, you goof.
I'm just gonna tell him to join.
Yeah, join, you fool.
He's like typing in the Discord.
What the hell, dude? I mean, I love it, but good lord. Oh, he says, I have work to do. Okay, do that and this at the same time.
Homework.
Earth Lettuce said, he's being a silly goose. Sorry, I'll join later. Okay, that's fine. It's only 8 o'clock. Oh my gosh, it's only 8 o'clock. I've only been going an hour.
How long do you usually go?
Well, I said to myself that this would be a longer one, like probably till 10 o'clock or so. Okay, he says, no, okay, in a bit, I promise. All right, love you, Daniel. Okay, so the next section. Aegis of House Galaborn. He's a Warforged Conjuration Wizard. Traveled with Ada, Eladrin Glamour Bard, to support her playing at the wedding as one of the bards who had answered the call for musicians. Guard a human redemption paladin, had been chasing a fox out of a farmhouse before being pressed into overseeing the ceremony as a local priest and had become comatose. Azealia, that's you. She's a wood elf, Circle of the Moon druid, tried to sneak into the temple through various means, but was caught multiple times and was brought in with Ada and Aegis as another bard. Hogaz, he's a half-orc bard / rogue. Daniel is highlighting what I'm reading, and he's like, oh, he's reading it. And Finnegan, a halfling bard. And Finnegan, a halfling bard, arrived on one of the last wagons into town with the other bards performing at the wedding. Azealia told the others that the Temple of Andreas was the home of an oracle who had a direct connection to Andreas, and that the priest here was supposed to know of a way to find answers to the things no one else could tell her. What the hell does that mean?
Needed some answers.
We needed some answers to some shit.
Need some answers to some shit.
Yeah, jeez. Okay.
I'm sure he'll explain.
What?
I'm sure he'll explain.
I'm sure he'll explain when he's done working. The wedding day. So who is Guard? Is Guard a player?
Guard? No.
Gard?
Beauregard.
Oh, Beauregard. What a fucking nickname. God damn it. I was like, who is that? That doesn't make sense. I've never heard of this person. So Beauregard gave a beautiful ceremony and cast the spell ceremony on the newlyweds. Just as Morella Lorenz was putting her ring on the hand of Loris Whitmore, an assassin appeared via polymorph on the ring. He stabbed Loris and all hell broke loose.
Oh.
Daniel!
Oh, nerds.
My boy.
Reading all of my stuff that I've written.
I'm just reading it so that the people at home can understand where the hell we are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
This document is also like 20 pages long.
Like, you're getting it all wrong. I have to come on.
That's honestly what I was doing. I was going to just pronounce everything wrong, so Daniel had to show up.
No, it's all good. I was on a walk and I was listening to you pronounce all of the kingdoms, and I was like, it's pretty close. Pretty close most of the time. But you got, the one that you got perfectly was Constantine Lazar.
Excellent.
Surprisingly enough. And I was like, a weird-ass name, but I was like, damn. I missed every kingdom. But I've got one NPC that you guys haven't even met yet. Was important to Quill's backstory, so he's just in there still. Yeah. What was up? You had a question. I have some time in between doing work stuff.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know who Guard was, and Haley corrected me. It's just Beauregard.
Yes, yeah. He was Sir Beauregard Samuelson, who was a paladin, Oath of Redemption. He actually invented the Dire Lands. That's in the continent because it was part of his sort of backstory that he was in this region and he did this whole thing and like made some mistakes when he was a young paladin in this order and has been trying to redeem himself over time. And so there's a number of things in the world that are just kind of like things that exist because you guys put them in your backstory, and I was like, okay, that's there now.
This exists.
So,
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of when you say it, it becomes canon. So long as there's like verisimilitude and it makes sense within the world. It doesn't like break something by saying, oh yeah, there's another set of magical woods on top of, the Elandor woods. It's like, you can't have two things in the same place,
Oh, so our conversation the other day when I said Grog has a conference call with Atlas and he just gets to summon like an axe.
I mean, we could talk about that. I don't know if it would be.
Did you fucking hear that?
100%. It wouldn't be a Zoom call. It would be some kind of, you do like a ritual or you pray or do some kind of, whatever kind of like special rite that would happen if you as a paladin to Atlas would like want to commune with your god, something akin to augury or like what's the other spell? Divine intervention. And there's another one that I think it's a divination wizard spell. Maybe it's a warlock spell. But there's one where it's literally like you ask your patron or your god a question, and then the DM rolls, and it's like, depending on what the roll is, they give a sort of clear or vague or like a yes or no answer.
Shit.
In that thing. So there's certainly not quite a Zoom call, but definitely like a Slack message to your god. And then depending on how busy they are, they'll Slack you back something.
Perfect. I'm sure Atlas is just crazy busy holding up the world. Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. Anything you want to add as game master?
I don't think so. I think this is just very, honestly, I'm very touched, and it's very fun that you're going through all of this. It's very exciting, honestly, to just be kind of like listening to you guys reacting to all of the stuff that's happened in the past. And I was scrolling through here because I was like, did I finish writing everything in here? And it does get the prose does kind of stop, and it turns into bullet points near the end before because I didn't finish it, so it's kind of compressed.
That's okay.
And it does jump between third and second person.
Oh, that's okay. The audience won't care.
Yeah. Just a note for the summary. I don't know how many words this is, but it's many and concise, and kind of brought it down from basically these are all of my notes that were like expanded, and I trimmed them down for mostly you and Micah and of course Hallie.
Yep.
Because you guys had joined, but you weren't here for most of this.
Dude, I'm reading some of this stuff, and I'm like, what the fuck did you do?
That's why I'm here.
Yes. Yeah. And these were the early adventures before I really knew a lesson to the folks at home. It's much easier to have an arc in mind than just sort of making it up every week. Because the first arc was very long and poorly planned, and now I actually have them structured. So have a thing in mind that you want to do instead of just sort of like figuring it out the day before. So yeah, that's why everything sort of like happens in like fits and starts. And I'll peace out and then just lurk
cool
in the chat. But I will say I do love the attempts to derail and absolutely wild moves that you guys do, because I can't predict anything, but I can react.
Yes.
And that's honestly the most fun thing, to just have a scene set. And in truth, I will prepare basically, and NPCs, like, they have their motivation, and if I need to have some kind of conversation, I will literally have like a paragraph of like something that they're going to say to you.
Yeah. And
then it's just however you guys react, we go from there. And that's how I
appreciate that.
That's how I prep for NPCs.
I appreciate that.
Not too elaborate, except for having them straight up just like a motivation, and then it's like, these are the things they got to tell you, and then whatever you guys say back, we go from there.
Yep, we figure it out. Heck yeah.
And Haley will definitely give you some more insights because this is very condensed. But we'll know of all of the shenanigans that happened in between certain parts. So, yeah, you guys have fun, my two beautiful players. I love you both very much, and I will continue lurking while I am doing late night animation.
Heck yeah. Cool.
All right.
Thanks, Daniel. Bye.
Sorry, what?
Daniel's a cool animator boy.
Yeah.
I am. I'm very cool, and I'm very good at animating.
Keep that in mind, people.
All facts, no printer.
Yes, 100%. Okay, bye.
Bye.
I need to hang up, but I can't do it because I'm old. This phone is very old. Okay, bye.
Where's the hang up button? Who the fuck was that, bro?
Yeah, whose dad was that?
Whose dad? Whose dad was that? Oh my god. Okay. Kind of like what Daniel said. If at any point I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? I don't know. Feel free to fill me in because I have no fucking idea.
Okay. No, it's been a while.
It's been a while.
Right from the beginning, but it actually feels like not that long ago, so it's kind of weird.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure like the further into this document we'll go, the memories will resurface, and you're like, oh fuck, I do remember that. Oh yeah, so Beauregard gave a beautiful ceremony and cast the spell ceremony on the newlyweds, just as Morella Lorenz, God, that is a tongue twister, was putting her ring on the hand of Loris Whitmore. An assassin appeared via polymorph on the ring. He stabbed Loris, and all hell broke loose as the other bards revealed themselves to be assassins and attacked Morella and Loris. As the party fought the other assassins, one Warforged assassin disengaged and fled towards the basement. The Warforged soon teleported away after being outnumbered. Upstairs, Ada healed Loris as he was bleeding out. A moment later, the party met Violet, a Harper agent, as she stepped out from hiding in the basement of the temple. She told the party that she was sent to recover the magical scroll called the Scroll of Answers before it could fall into the hands of an unknown adversary, and had been able to do so within moments of that happening. Anything I missed there? Anything you want to include?
It's tough to remember the chronological order, so just continue because I don't want to add things that haven't really come out yet.
Because then I'll read it and I'm like, oh shit, she just said that. Okay. Aegis identified the Scroll of Answers as a powerful artifact that could be used to answer a single question, but could only be used once by an individual. The party talked to Gunnar, and Ada and Aegis revealed privately to him how they had met after he had been surprised to hear that there was a survivor of House Galaborn. He told them that it was common knowledge that the High Elf wizards of House Galaborn all died fighting to take back Enlace Anor. Gunnar gave the party rights of safe passage through the kingdom of Zanstrines. Daniel, help. Ada specifically received an owl from Morella for healing Loris. Loris informed the party his father could offer a boon of any kind for saving his life, and the party agreed to meet Loris at Castle Whitmore. Harper Connections. The next day, Violet brought Quill to meet the party and discuss what to do with the Scroll of Answers. The two groups agreed to have Quill stay with the party to protect the scroll, while Violet returned to the Harper's headquarters in Calwaith. As he was leaving the temple, Hogaz asked the scroll where his father was. The scroll answered Mount Zizek, a mountain at the northern end of the spine. We talked about that earlier. The mountain range that splits the continent of Salandran almost in half. The party gathered their equipment and took to the road, heading east. Castle Whitmore. Your party headed east out of Alderdine towards Castle Whitmore. You were told Lord Levane Whitmore would have a reward as payment for saving his son and new daughter-in-law from assassination attempts. The Lord offered the party an improvement to their arms, armor, or some magical assistance from Excellence, the blind tiefling arcanist. Azealia revealed her past encounter with the Green Warrior when her druidic powers manifested in the Elandor Woods to the party and Excellence. Excellence told you that the spirit was a revenant, but said his colleagues at the University of Cluehbridge would know more about the undead than him. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So
it's kind of like your whole
Green
backstory.
Warrior, right. Essentially, so Azealia is from the Elandor Wood, and for as long as she can remember, there's always been like this spirit that's been haunting her woods, and getting increasingly like more violent. And he would appear just kind of out of the blue. It wasn't really like a set when he would come, but he would be very violent. And we never really knew what he wanted. He would just kind of wander around the town and act very aggressively and speak in a language that no one could understand, and we just didn't know what he wanted or how to help. But he would show up, be very violent, we would end up killing him, and then he wouldn't come around for a little while, and then he'd show up again, we'd have to kill him again. We couldn't understand him. We tried talking to him many times, and it didn't really help. But he was so violent that we had to kill him every time. And Azealia is the first druid from her tribe in a long time, and she kind of felt that it was because of this occurrence that kept happening that maybe she was being called from a higher being to like figure out why this is happening, and kind of that's why she started her travels, to figure out what was happening with that and save her village.
Woof. Heavy shit.
And I just found out in real time.
Yeah.
2 years later.
Wow.
So, pretty exciting.
Pretty exciting stuff. So, once we got to the courtyard, you saw the Warforged you encountered in Alderdine, as well as a kobold and a gnome who recognized Finnegan. The gnome demanded the scroll, you refused, and a fight ensued. Great.
No scrolls.
Yep. After the fight, Lord Levain asked you to leave, upset by your presence, bringing enemies to his home who appeared to be after the scroll in the party's possession. On his way out, Levain mentioned he is part of the Lord's Alliance and will pass on his goodwill if he can. You packed your things and headed east towards Eastwell and Mount Zizek. Zizek. God, I can't. I'm so bad.
Oh, Daniel's laughing right now.
Great. I'm sure he is. Well, if he was here and didn't do his work, he could read this document.
Love it.
He told me explicitly today that there's nothing better than him lingering and silently commenting on words that I can't pronounce that are made up.
Oh, that's loving it.
They're
this
just
is his world. We are just living in it.
Right.
Quite
I say that
literally.
every week. This is his world. We just we're here. We live there. Eastwell. So we have come to the town of Eastwell. Azealia and Quill saw a centaur spirit that told them she was called to the material plane against her will and is now trapped and wishes to return home.
What about that?
Was that a cool encounter? Do you remember?
I'm like trying to remember it exactly, but I don't quite remember. But it was really cool.
That's okay. Apparently, it sounds
All
cool.
I remember.
Finnegan and Beauregard left the party after their watch ended. Oh shit! Okay, so they got to Eastwell, and that's when they peaced out. Wow. And then there were 5 party members.
Does it tell you? Did he write like how long this was in like real time?
No, he didn't put dates. That would have been cool to know.
That would have been really interesting.
That would have been really, really interesting to see the timestamps of all of these.
Yeah.
God damn it, Daniel. He says
But I think he. What?
He said he in the Twitch chat.
Have we got here? Maybe he'll say something now to this. Did you write down the part where like it was like the fish that was on the trail, and then we went into like a cave? Has that been talked about?
We haven't gotten to.
Just couldn't remember.
You met Zelane Proudfoot, the halfling captain of the airship, the Triumph's Call. Shortly after the last passenger boarded, an air genasi, member of the Cartographers Guild named Zephina? What? Anyway. Well, I was like, that's not Zephyra, that's not Hallie. Azealia and Ada recognized her, and the three had a short reunion before the ship got underway and headed towards Cluehbridge. You learn... Oh, who's that? What is he typing? To late summer. Oh, Violet, the Harper agent and entrusted the scroll. Okay, great. Wow. Okay. And Captain Proudfoot that the cartographers draw maps of the landscape and new locations from various airships and sell the maps to adventurers. That night, Ada received a message from Violet and was informed that the person looking for the Scroll of Answers is Eldritch Zool. He'll play an important role later. A ruthless pirate captain who has been raiding the South Seas for many years. Zephina offered a warning. The further the ruins and the Silveranth Empire outposts are from civilization, the more dangerous they are. So the further out that they go, the worse it will be. The key and a dead king. That night, Ada saw a spirit of King Adrin of the Autumn Court. The dead king apologized for making her and her fellow soldiers commit the acts that they did during the Civil War in the Feywild, and told her that her visions of spirits from the Feywild are connected to her actions during the war somehow. In the morning, the Triumph's Call stopped in Gold Peak for a few hours to trade goods. In the town square, you met Zephina. God damn it, Daniel.
A twin sister. That's Hallie.
Jesus Christ. Another elf from the Landor Woods. He left their village a few years before she did. This is a nightmare of mine, by the way, is reading out loud to a group of people.
Really?
Oh yeah, I'm so bad about reading. Like
reading to me.
Yeah, I'm reading to you and 10 other people. Words that don't make sense. He left their village a few years before she did. He told Azealia he lost his tiger, Locke, when his party of blood hunters were attacked by fiends in the wastes near the kingdom of Silveranth. He was hunting down a necromancer near Gold Peak to save his tiger, to have his tiger resurrected. Got it. The party then decides to leave Gold Peak. On the ship, Hogaz noticed a ruin appeared in the hills to the west. Zelene Proudfoot sailed closer to inspect the ruin after Zephina told you all that it wasn't on any maps she knew of. Approaching the ruins, you encountered a number of bandits and killed everyone but Bianca, the bandit captain. Bianca was bound and said there was treasure behind the door she was sent to find. The Galaborn Laboratory Ruins. Oh my gosh, this skips this is like a whole other thing. Do you remember that when you went to the ruins and you fought the pirate bandit people?
Yeah, kinda.
Did you find anything cool?
I'm trying to remember what that was.
Okay, I'll continue reading, and if you remember, just throw it out. The Galaborn Laboratory Ruins. You fought and captured an observer named Osros. Saving his skin, Osros told you there were traps throughout the laboratory ruins. Ada activated a scrying orb and saw elves, including Everin Galaborn, creator of the Warforged, fighting a massive, horrible-looking Warforged in the ruins of the city of Enlace Anor. They appeared to be frozen in time. This is all underlined, by the way, so it's fucking important. Write that down. Inspecting some of the books and notes, you found some information about experiments that used various spell components and materials and yielded a variety of results. Osros told you there was a disaster that happened down here and something was sealed away. Azealia wild-shaped again into a spider and snuck into the next room and saw remnants of a battle, a broken forge obelisk, a scar on the far wall, and an 8-foot-tall smoking demonic skeleton waiting behind the door. You opened the door, but didn't fight the demon as it left the laboratory. Bianca found this is underlined too, the Moonstone Circlet on the body of Kinvara, another wood elf druid from the Elandor Woods. Bianca informed the party that she was a former pirate under Eldritch Zool, doing one last job before she can be released. Eldritch Zool told Bianca that he was there when Kinvara was killed. His best friend disappeared, and his personality changed before being thrown through a portal. Eldritch Zool needed the Moonstone Circlet to seal a pact with a god. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh god, there's so much unpacked here, though.
It's a fucking podcast / TED Talk. Take as much time as you need.
No. So the beginning sounded different to me. That's why I was like, "Are we here already? Like, this is what this is." Okay. So basically, we found the circlet on Kinvara's head, and
pause real quick. This is a map of the continent, chat. This is what it looks like. This is the spine. Cluehbridge is up here, and then like right now we're up at the very top of the spine. We went through a portal and we're there now. Anyway, continue. I'm sorry.
But yeah, Kinvara is dead. And she's like sitting outside this room, and oh gosh, how do I? Okay, so we found the circlet. I took the circlet because it looked familiar to me, and it like I think I'm trying to remember specifics. I can't remember if it did anything when I picked it up, but basically, she was the last Circle of the Moon druid to have this circlet. And it's been passed down from Circle of the Moon druids past. It is important later. I won't get into why, because there's things. But basically, I took it because it looked like it belonged to me. It just called to me, so I took it, and yeah. And Zool wanted it as well. I don't wanna spoil things.
I mean, feel free to say whatever you want.
Zool and Kinvara have a connection. I will say that.
Whoa.
They knew each other. They know each other. Yeah, and I didn't know that until a little later. So that was still, Zool was still like the bad guy that was traveling with us, kind of vibe.
Mm.
I didn't know how connected he was to Kinvara, who was connected to me. And she actually, this is a little bit in the future, but she actually died before she could give me the circlet because I was supposed to be the next.
You're supposed to get it. When you got to the temple, was Zool there? He must have been there. Or did he just show up? Do you remember? It's okay if you don't.
I'm embarrassing myself.
It was also 2 years ago.
No. It wasn't. This wasn't 2 years ago. This was maybe like a year and a half ago.
Mm. We are catching up to where I would be.
I don't know.
It's okay.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm sure in the in seeing the circlet, you're probably like, oh shit, and then you turn around and Zool is there to grab it. Swiper, no swiping kind of vibes. No?
Not really.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to remember the sequence of events.
It's okay.
So let me go have it set up anyway.
You know what? There's a whole bullet on Eldritch Zool's story, so maybe we'll learn more. The bullet right after that, real quick, is called Birthday. Do you remember Birthday? Okay.
Oh, I remember.
I remember Birthday.
This is where we got our name.
Yeah, this is it. Okay, so
we got the Cluehbridge Six name.
The Cluehbridge Six. So the next chapter, section, whatever this is. So once you found the circlet, you headed towards the city of Cluehbridge. Zelane told you Cluehbridge is filled with magic and oddities because it is home to the University of Cluehbridge, which trains wizards and supplies the Mage Guard, the private military force that polices the city. Landing at night, you logged all magic items with the Mage Guard before entering the city. Oh, Daniel said, clarity moment for future. The massive Warforged Azealia and Ada saw is the avatar that Grog just remembered after the modified memory spell was dispelled. The scrying stones allow you to see into the Citadel without being there physically. That's a big fucking shit, Daniel. Shit. God damn. Fuck. So yes, the party had to log their magical items with the Mage Guard. I'm assuming it's kind of like the Wild West, you know, leave your guns at the door kind of thing before you enter the city. How do you pronounce Hallie's twin sister's name? Zephania?
Zephania. Zephania.
Zephania. Left to meet with her colleagues at the Cartographers Guild. You found lodgings at a discreet inn in the district of West Harbor called Sullivan's Rest. Excellence appeared just after you paid for your rooms and took you to the university. On the way, you saw Morella and Loris. They are staying on the Azure, an airship Morella's family sent as your boon for saving her. This section is titled Excellence's Friends. Excellence brought you to Professor Brock Bergel, who told you about the folklore connection between the Green Warrior and the soldier from the song. He is this is underlined, a revenant that cannot fulfill its purpose. Also learned the Moonstone Circlet is supposed to be given to a Circle of the Moon Druid by the eldest of their tribe. Heyo, that's you. Excellence told you Eldritch Zool could have made a pact with the Queen of Air and Darkness, the Archfey ruler of the Winter Court of the Feywild. That's kind of important too. Later, you met a friend of Excellence's named Betsy, who told you her friend had intercepted some, this is underlined, correspondence between the university and the Order of the Seraphs, detailing some information about resurrecting a Warforged in the Wastes, but was captured and is being held in a secret prison. You decided not to help Betsy, leaving her friend to an unknown fate, and Excellence told you anyone else in the city who could help you fight Eldritch Zool would be more brutal than Betsy's organization. And fighting in the arena tournament would make you more recognizable in the city. The next day, low on cash and looking for an assassin, you went to the arena where Quill slipped away from the party for an unknown purpose. What the fuck does that mean?
That's when he left again.
Ah, okay. Oh, did he leave and come back and then leave again? Or did he just leave and...
I think so, but we're missing another part that he's in, so maybe not.
Gotcha. This next section is titled Cherry Blossom and the Spider's Web. In the arena, you fought a planehopper named Wardmaker in the arena with the help from Eldon, a Wood Elf Ranger. After you fight, you meet Cherry Blossom, a Summer Eladrin who knew Ada from the Bardic College of Whispers in the Feywild and knew Eldon from traveling to the material plane. The party learned that Cherry Blossom runs the Zentarum, a trade network that she has created to monopolize business ventures across Salandran. She hates Eldritch Zool for interfering with trade in the southern seas. He's not a great dude. He's not a nice guy.
Not a likable fellow.
Well, I don't know. He's kind of likable. He's like, I mean, we hate him. Salts of the earth, great guy. Piece of shit though. Like, let's be real.
But honestly, the worst.
Literally the worst. Like, there's a special place in hell for, like, there's Joseph Stalin, there's Hitler, and then there's Eldritch Zool.
No, that's not...
Or, like, maybe they're all right there. Anyway. Zentharim are kill on sight, said Earth Lettuce, a guy in the chat. Yes. You offered to take out Eldritch Zool for her with the help of her Assassin's Union, the Spider's Web. Later, you met the Union Assassins Cloud and Thurgon Wisehammer, as well as... Daniel, goddammit. I'm going to just call her Amaria, unless I want some of their unsavory wares, allegedly. Damn you. As well as... Okay, anyway. The Dark Elf Union Steward of the Web. They told the story of Eldritch Zool before his disappearance. Here is the story of Eldritch Zool's backstory. Thank you. He was a wow, off to a great start for this section.
Love.
He was an elven prince who fell in love with Kinvara. The two escaped and were exiled from their homelands and became rebels against the Silverant Empire. The duo became a trio with Urzak, an orc bard. The three created the Harpers, working with another older bard, Ragnon Greenbottle. The trio started hiding the knowledge they'd acquired in songs that they had passed around. Ada revealed that Ragnon had been her patron and supported her education at the College of Whispers. The original Harpers believed that the people of the Empire would find liberation through information, thus leading to the Harpers' less lethal approach to gathering intelligence for dissemination. Amarindia? God damn it.
Can you share this document with me?
I'm going to highlight this name, and I'm going to put it in the chat. And you can pronounce out loud what the fuck that name is.
Which chat?
Just the D&D one. And you let me know.
Marinda.
That's not... Amarinda? Amarinda. God damn it. Yeah. Amarinda. Amarinda. Daniel!
You'll save us?
He's back. He's back.
Pissed
He's sick of my shit, is what it is.
God, he's pissed.
I'm just jumping in to clear up some names so it's not insane. The Union Steward's name is Amarinda Luthadel.
I knew it.
And yeah, so you were pretty close.
Chat, I missed it by that fucking much.
You did. You missed it by just the teensiest amount. Yeah, Amarinda Ualterth is in here, but that's actually, I have two names for her because I did not want them to be the same as ones in, I realized that I had like memory hold one of her names from another fantasy property. So she has two names and I don't remember which one is consistent in my notes. So this one might be wrong for her last name, but she is Amarinda.
Amarinda. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That feels...
For Daniel, everyone.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. And honestly, do you want me to just like hang out so you can pose questions? You'll just be on speaker for me.
Yeah, sure.
That's great.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Whatever you want to do, dude. Again, this is your world. We just fucking live in it.
Yeah, no, you guys, it's much more fun, honestly, to have you guys be going through this and hearing Azalea's backstory takes while I'm just animating.
Yeah, I also just appreciate the grammar correctness and grammar police, you know? So I don't sound like a complete idiot and non-academic. Okay. So, the original Harpers believed that the people of the Empire would find liberation through information, thus leading to the Harpers' less lethal approach to gathering intelligence for dissemination. Amarinda also revealed to you that she was one of Eldritch Zool's half-sisters by the same father who, in Eldritch Zool's words, was a, quote, philandering, hypocritical bastard. End quote. The last time she saw Eldritch Zool was almost 30 years ago when she helped the trio through the Underdark to the Silveranth Complex underground, which you realized was the ruined laboratory complex in which you found the Moonstone Circlet and the body of Kinvara. Wow. Amarinda told you she didn't know what happened in the complex, but her brother used to be a good person, and this is all underlined, Whatever power it was that made him evil would only be reversible by a deity. And underline. Changing his soul's alignment would allow him to die and join Kinvara in the Beastlands, the outer plane where the most druids decide to go after they die. So his whole his whole goal, essentially, is to get this moonstone, and Haley can definitely deep dive into this. But his whole thing, especially right now, in this time period where we're at, is to get the moonstone to basically join Kinvara in death, or bring her back to life. Something.
Yeah, more to join her. Because the queen that he was bringing it to said that she could join them.
Yeah.
If he brought her the circlet.
Right.
And my whole thing with him was just kind of like, because I had the circlet, I could communicate with Kinvara.
Right.
And I actually asked her, I could kind of connect with her. It was a little touch and go, but I was able to connect with her at one point, and I was like, do you even want this? Like, because I didn't know from her point of view. He was just telling me at the time, like,
right.
I was in love with her and all this stuff, and we didn't really trust him. So I was like, do you even want this? Like, do you want him to be with you? And the feeling was yes. So when I became kind of like a proponent of it happening, but at the same time, circlet was now attuned to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like supposed to protect it. So I'm like, can't just give it up.
Right.
So it became a little complicated.
Yeah. He kind of became an NPC that hung around for a bit for our party.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for quite a long time.
And this was definitely the intro, I think, for that. In realizing like, oh, he needs this circlet, and he's fucking evil in our eyes at this point. So like, we're not going to really just let him go.
No, I couldn't trust him.
It's kind of being handcuffed to your assailant.
Yeah, we both wanted things from each other, so we weren't going to leave each other.
Yeah, we kind of used each other for a little while. Azealia decided to attune herself to the moonstone circlet and astral projection to the surface of Sola, the smaller of two moons that circle Salandrin. During this trance, she understood that the circlet is an incredibly powerful relic, but she hasn't unlocked its full potential yet. Azealia connected with Kinvara's subconscious and understood that, and this is underlined, Kinvara wanted Eldritch Zool to join her in the afterlife. So exactly what you just said. Walking back that night, Azealia, Ada, and Eldon reached Sullivan's Rest in the West Harbor. An arrow with a note and stone attached to it thudded into the hanging sign of the inn. Reading it revealed that Quill had left to try and get the Harper agent, who was intercepted and is now in prison, but he'd recovered some items from a lockbox he'd taken with him from the Silveranth complex. So this is kind of the exiting of Quill's character, essentially.
Yeah.
The journal was mostly
that was.
Oh, yep.
Oh, yeah, that was just how I had. It was very much. I asked Ian, "Hey, how do you want your character to exit?" And he said, "Let him sneak off into the night." And I said, "You got it, boss." So he snuck off into the night, and I had to write in a little bit of stuff that he had on him from the laboratory, so that the rest of the gang would have some information.
Oh. Some say he is still sneaking into the night. I have no idea. I've never met him. He is just a man to me. This next section talks about a journal, which I'm not entirely sure, but I will read it, and then one of you can translate. The journal was mostly in a cipher, but Quill was able to translate... Oh, this is that thing that you were just talking about. The information. But Quill was able to translate some of it, revealing the Empire was doing some research related to summoning souls starting over 100 years ago, and the Bloodhunter Order of the Ghost Slayers was founded to hunt down the spirits that rejected containment. Mm-hmm. Quill and the Harpers asked you to keep the Scroll of Answers safe for them. Gotcha. Wow. Okay. That's all important shit. Okay, here we go. Ada went inside the inn while Azealia and Eldon stayed outside to witness a person thrown through a window across the street. Enter...
Well, I wonder who comes in at this point.
Enter... Earth's most mightiest hero. Solandrin's most mightiest hero. Grog, our new Goliath barbarian, stepped out of the bar, followed by the person's friends. The three scrawny folks turned into were-rats and attacked Grog. And they were fucking slaughtered, by the way. Absolutely fucking murked by ya boy. The three of you outside, and Harbeck, the innkeeper, tried to convince the crowd that had gathered around the fight to not call the Mage Guard, but were unsuccessful. Harbeck ushered you inside, where he gave you some unfortunate news. The Mage Guard precinct captain brought an inquisitor from the Order of the Seraphs to the inn before you arrived and took Aegis and the Scroll of Answers with them. Hogaz snuck off to follow them, but hadn't returned yet. As the Mage Guard arrived outside, Harbeck ushered you through the back door of the inn, telling you to find the Temple of Moradin. Excuse me, oh my god, I breathed wrong. Sneaking through the city, you made your way to the temple. Hogaz caught up with you and told you he had watched the Mage Guard captain and the Inquisitor bring Aegis into the Mage Guard headquarters. This next section is titled Birthday. In the morning, you heard the ringing of temple bells and laughter and the sounds of a city waking up for a midsummer festival that the whole continent of Slandern practices, known as Birthday. Originally a fertility festival celebrating mothers, children, and the vitality that people feel in high summer, the holiday became something unique after the war. Before the Calamity War, the Warforged were created. This goes into a whole other section. So during Birthday, goodness, what happened during Birthday? We did some shit. That was like my second or third session. Here we go. Oh, this section talks about the Warforged.
Oh, you're not going to read the nice little bit of flavor lore that I wrote for these guys so they understood the context of the holiday?
That goes off of that? Okay. So,
yeah.
I thought it was a whole other section. I was like, oops.
No. That was like literally the preamble because it was an actual holiday. And shout out to my good friend Mackenzie, one of the collaborators who helped me a lot with a lot of world building stuff.
Gotcha.
And Birthday was sort of a collaboration between the two of us because I was like, I need there to be a festival or something.
Every D&D session needs a festival.
Yeah, and basically they helped me come up with this holiday that would sort of create a lot of like fun stuff for a situation that was really tense for you guys.
Okay, here we go then. So, as Daniel said, this prefaces Birthday. So before the Calamity War, which I had mentioned way at the beginning, the Warforged were created by the elves to be the guardians of their empire against threats both from this plane and others. When fiends began pouring out of the rifts in the east 20 years ago, the Warforged were the front-line soldiers who took the majority of the casualties while the rest of the continent mobilized armies of all races and nationalities to save their homeland. After the war was over, the Warforged were left to their own devices, and only a fraction of their original numbers were left. The few thousand that are left now, scattered across the continent, are celebrated today. Without knowing their own birthday, the people decided today, the day the people of Salandran celebrate life and the joy it brings, is their birthday, as thanks for their sacrifice. Outside of the Temple of Moradin, you saw the people of Cluehbridge preparing for a parade. Floats were being set up, and you saw Warforged were receiving small trinkets as birthday gifts, and music and the smells of a festival was everywhere. It was notable that many of the, and this is all underlined, Warforged had added armor to their androgynous humanoid bodies to present as a variety of species and genders. Amarinda approached you in the crowd and told you that Eldritch Zool was already in the city. Looking around in the square, you saw Eldritch Zool doing some sleight of hand and chatting with some orphans in front of one of the temples. Hogaz approached him and sat down, playing his drum. I do remember this. Eldritch Zool appeared to recognize Hogaz, telling Hogaz that he looked almost exactly like his father. Hogaz failed to lie about his parentage, but Eldritch Zool didn't seem to care. He said Urzak, Hogaz's father, had always been the poet, and he hoped his son had some of the same gift before departing with his cronies. That's a good vocab word. The party followed Eldritch Zool and his crew across the city as they walked with the parade towards the city center. After reaching the center, Eldritch Zool and his crew walked off to various vendors and carnival games. Cherry Blossom saw the party as she was making the rounds of the vendors and asked how the hunt for Eldritch Zool was going. After telling her that he was in the city with his crew and that you were going to try and talk to Eldritch Zool, she left, appearing somewhat frazzled. Very, oh my god. As a concert began in the square, the party noticed Eldritch Zool standing alone in the crowd. Hogaz decided to start a mosh pit near the stage, while Azealia, Grog, Eldon, and Shadow hung back. Ada moved to the stage and tried to join the band, but was escorted off stage by the stage manager. As she was being led down, Eldritch Zool began making his way through the crowd towards her. Like, hey, you're a bard, you can't make it here.
Nah.
The party began making moves towards Eldritch Zool, with Ada hiding in the crowd. Azealia trying to talk with Eldritch Zool before Grog grappled him in the fog cloud that he had made that obscures the crowd around them. So at this moment, we're trying to engage with Zool, and I think someone cast fog cloud or fucking pop smoke. I don't know. Someone. Who knows?
Someone.
Yeah. Azealia tried to cast fog cloud, but Zool counterspelled it.
He was like, no, see ya.
Yeah.
So yes, we're trying to grapple him, and I think at that moment we were kind of like, okay, he's gonna either torch this whole crowd or, I don't know, burn down the whole city. That's kind of where my mind was at, and I think is still at to this day. Eldon picked up Zool's Wraithblade. Grog werebeared out. That's right. At this point in time, Grog is a werebear, or has the werebear lycanthropy curse, disease, whatever you want to call it. And I went ham. And Thurgon, the dwarf assassin from the web, joined the fray. Eventually, Zool's ship, the Last Delight, crash-landed in the square. His crew joined the fray, but you killed his crew of the Last Delight, who will no longer threaten the South Seas and the trade routes of Zentarim's ships. Zool disappeared as the fight turned against him, but damaged the arcane engine of the skyship as a last resort to make it explode. Standing on the top of the Standing on top of the main mast of the ship as it began crushing itself into the city street, he told you he would let you live if you gave him the circlet. An undead captain of the Mage Guard was convinced to leave you to finish off Eldritch Zool and stop the ship's engine from exploding, while the rest of the guards evacuated the buildings nearby, but the captain said he'd send an artificer to fix the ship. You struck a bargain with Eldritch Zool. Azealia, you will go with him to the Winter Court in the Feywild, which is where we are now, to deliver the Moonstone Circlet, but will try to persuade the Queen of Air and Darkness to let her keep the circlet after Eldritch Zool has completed delivering the rest of his trinkets to the Queen. Which the trinkets we'll get into in a minute. With a team effort, you stopped the improvised bomb from exploding and lifted the broken skyship into the air above the city streets. Hogaz slipped away into the city alone. You failed to deceive Captain Shu of the Mage Guard, who told you multiple witnesses had described your party as the murderers of 3 people. He towed the breaking ship to the dry docks, and Eldritch Zool hid below decks. The party then proceeds to sneak off the ship, avoiding the numerous Mage Guards on the docks. While Captain Shu was explaining what had happened in the square, you reached Azura. Ada surprised Morella Whitmore and Loris Whitmore and introduced all her new friends. We then shipped off the docks and began flying into the night with Morella and Loris on the skyship. Eldritch Zool surprised you by flying up to Azur with his wings and landing on the deck. The fly-by-night exploded behind you. The ship that we were just on, mind you, or that was about to explode, killing numerous Mage Guard. The commander of the Mage Guard survived and watched Azur escape to the east. Zool revealed that he was hired by Constantine Lazard, patrician of Eriswant, to kill Loris and Morella and take the Scroll of Answers. Wow. That was all in one session.
A lot.
It was a lot.
Yep. It was a lot.
And it was kick-ass.
And that's where the party gets their name. The Cluehbridge Six.
Yep.
Who are wanted for murder, terrorism, vandalism, destruction of property, a litany of other crime.
It's just so funny that, like, you know, we become, like, infamous, like, outlaws as soon as someone joined our party. It's so weird.
Yeah, Hallie.
What a coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking wild.
She wasn't here yet, yeah.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird. That's what happens when you let a barbarian into a group. Like, you never know.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I believe it was Grog, though, that actually stopped the arcane engine from exploding. Because pretty sure it was a tense moment where you all were trying to figure out what do we do. And I'm pretty sure Grog was the one who was like, fuck it, I run into the ship.
Yep.
Yeah, you did.
And went down into the ship, saw that Zool, that is, had like broken off the control rod and like damaged the housing of the arcane engine, and Grog like jammed his axe in and then like pushed it back.
Yep.
So that the controls weren't like crushing the ship into the ground, which was like making it basically crush itself and would eventually explode.
Yep.
Which it did later on anyways, because Zool is an asshole.
But we love him.
They are named because of him.
But we love him. We are now to oh yes, this is where this next section is where we met Zephyrus. Okay, and how do you pronounce this, Daniel? Mount Zizek?
Zizek.
Yes, Zizek. Yeah,
Zizek. God damn it! You and your fake words.
Be right back.
it's all good, man. That's the problem. I can't just be like, you went to Mount Batty, and it's like, excuse me? I'm like, no, that breaks immersion. I have to call it something weird.
I sometimes, in coming up with fantasy shit, will just say noises that come to mind. Like, when you ask me to speak in Giant, that's just, like, either words that I will say backwards, or just sounds that, like, I've made up.
Hell yeah.
Like, one of my first ever campaigns, I was a lizard folk, and I needed to come up with a name, and I named him Tizich, which is just the cracker brand Cheez-It backwards.
I love that so much.
Yep.
That's incredible.
They were like, where did you come up with that? And I showed them the box.
It's like, it's fucking this backwards.
Yep.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that. I promise I don't have any names that are just a regular name backwards. But it is funny thinking about languages in this, that I like to imagine that common and like all of the language that everybody speaks in is, a different dialect. But it's very much like Tolkien. I'm pretty sure it was Tolkien who was like, Oh yeah, they're all speaking a different language, but I'm just translating it to English. So it's like the person's name isn't like Frodo, it's something else, but this is what it would be in English. So there's a lot of stuff where it's like, yeah, these places have like weird names, but that's like the like quote unquote common like name for it. Like dwarves would call their home cities something entirely different, but then it translates to the free city of Darfaldor or what have you. But this next part is where we meet our new friend Zephyrus, the swashbuckler rogue cartographer.
All right. So we enter Mount Zizek. Zizek. The party meets Zephyrus, or Hallie, when we were going through early introductions. At the tavern at the base of Mount Zizek, Azul introduced her to the party. We learned from Zephyrus that there's a copse of trees and hot springs that has appeared halfway up the mountain. This new geographical feature lines up with the, and then this is all underlined, lines up with the lost dwarven keep of Axholm, which was seized by the Silverant Empire decades ago. Oh, hello? Who is that? It's Zephyrus! It's Hallie. Perfect timing.
It's me!
Holy shit! This is perfect. I literally just introduced your character.
I know, I've been watching the stream at home.
Oh my gosh! This is so nerve-wracking, all my friends. Okay. Okay, so the group learns that the new geographical features lines up with the lost dwarven keep of Axholm, which was seized by the Silverant Empire decades ago. With the glamour surrounding it now gone, it is now accessible to those who can see it. Learned from Loris Whitmore that there was this is all underlined too, a dragon at the top of the mountain. So we found out, like, holy fuck, shit. Its presence causes magical snow to fall while it sleeps during the day, but disappears when the dragon leaves its roost in Icespire Keep. So, like, whenever it's active and flying around, it doesn't snow, but whenever it sleeps, it comes down. But I think, Daniel, like, you put in some flavor, like, it can also just control, or it just produces magical snow, like, whenever, I think.
Yeah, so I pulled that from straight up from, like, the monster manual, is that a dragon's lair creates, once they've, like, roosted there for a certain amount of time, it creates, like, an area effect, like, around it. And one that I really liked was the idea that it creates magical snow, or that it's, like, it's always snowing.
Yeah.
But I changed it to it was that there's magical snow, so it falls, but it doesn't actually collect. And that's something that, like, I had sort of Loris, who is this sort of, like, nerdy noble who is sort of like a scholar archetype almost, and he was able to sort of understand that it was like, oh, there's all this snow falling, but it's not collecting on anything. Like, he was outside while you guys were talking, and he, like, comes inside and was like, this is magical snow, there's a dragon here. Yeah, it was a fun reveal.
It was definitely very cool in the moment of, like, oh yeah, shit, there are dragons here.
Yeah, and folks who have played I want to say it's the starter kit, would know that Axholm Keep and Icespire Keep are both from the Dragon of Icespire Keep adventure.
Whoa!
So pulled directly from there to insert them into the lantern.
Wow!
Which you can do with just about anything, and change some names, and you're golden.
Wow. And you too can be a game master. Real quick, someone in the chat said, hear me out. What if you named a bard and their name was Bardtholomew?
You could.
I hate you. Lettuce, it was you. I know who you are. Anyway, moving on.
I appreciate that.
I don't appreciate that. There can only be one dad in the chat. So this next section is titled The Ascent because the group is ascending, climbing the mountain towards the dragon, or trying to avoid it at least. On your journey up, you crossed a chasm in a variety of different ways. Grog and the party spoke to an ice giant shepherding several baby mammoths, to which Azealia rushed over and wanted to pet one or interact with one.
Mostly I wanted to be able to turn into one later, so I wanted to make sure that I fought.
Which you fucking haven't done yet.
No.
You should just do that at any point. Zephyrus was teased by some playful air elementals, which I totally forgot. And you successfully hid from the dragon while it was hunting. Also, Hallie, I preface this with Haley and Daniel too, that if at any point you remember something from a year and a half ago that you want to talk about, please do, because I now feel Daniel's pain in talking for 2 hours. So
True.
feel free to do that. Continuing our ascent, a week into our journey, you saw a storm approaching from the west. And as it hit the mountain, you saw the Triumph's Call, the skyship you sailed on the way to Cluehbridge, as it crashed into the mountain ahead of you. Arriving at the crash site in the middle of a blizzard, we saw the shipwreck had landed at the edge of the trees surrounding the hot springs. Inspecting the crash site, we saw blood, and several remains. But the lack of bodies and the remnants of footsteps led you north, further into the woods. Soon, you saw a familiar face drop from one of the trees. Nearby, Zelane Proudfoot, captain of the Triumph's Call. She was hiding in the trees from something. She told you her crew was hired by a mage named Maeve from the university to bring her to this spot, but the storm shipwrecked the crew. Zelane appears to be the only survivor and told you the mage turned out to be a necromancer. Maeve raised the rest of her crew from the dead and marched them further into the woods towards the keep. After Eldon reset Zelane's arm, Yetis drew close, and you got a surprise round of combat as we hid in the trees with the captain. After beating them with snares, steady aim, and a few rounds of paralysis, you decided to press on towards the keep. That was awesome because Yetis are fucking cool to fight. And we kind of prepped this whole surprise round. I definitely remember that. We were hiding in trees and in bushes, and I think Haley set some traps or snares, and one got strung up in the trees, and yeah. It was very reminiscent. It was like a reverse. If you ever saw A New Hope, no. When did they get caught up by the Ewoks?
That's in Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, yeah. Return of the Jedi. It's a reverse Endor scene.
Yeah.
So,
I remember before that when we were making our way up the mountain. Do you remember that whole debacle where we had to scale the side of a mountain?
Yes. Oh, yes. There's a whole section titled "The Climb," which we'll get into in just a second.
Okay. I couldn't remember when that was. If we got to that part yet or not.
It's just in a few. It'll be just in the section after this. This section is titled Axholm. After making your way into the keep and fighting the zombies of the crew of the Triumph's Call, you met Maeve and talked her down from a fight. I remember Grog calling her witch bitch. So my biggest takeaway from that scene. She led you to the former throne room of the keep, which had been turned into a forge. You found summoning notes about different Warforged combinations that created juggernauts, like you had fought before, as well as more slender scouts and the envoys like Aegis that had strange-looking bodies. This was also, I remember when we got to the keep. This was when Daniel introduced dynamic lighting on Roll20. He may not have introduced it here, but it was. I definitely remember it here because like Grog doesn't have night vision or dark vision, so like it was completely dark in this keep, and there were zombies around. So here we go. So the party learned several things at this point from just listening to Maeve and things like that. So in the forge that we're kind of standing in front of, there is a portal, and this portal leads to Ysgard, which pulls spirits of warriors. It binds their spirits and modifies their memories or erases them entirely of their past lives. And they basically, their souls get put into these warforged. Azealia learns that the green elf spirit escaped containment from here, and later learned this is Alandor, one of the ancient heroes, which we can talk about in a minute. Grog, my character, finds out that Lashana, one of the commanders of the company he was with, of mercenaries and things like that, hunted these with the Ghost Slayer Order of Bloodhunters. That night, after we had kind of figured all of this out, we rested in one of the barracks that were in the keep. And Azealia, the entire time, I should say, Azealia is wearing this circlet. It's just like a little crown. Basically, from the moment she's had it, she's always either had it on her or on her person anyway. And that night in the barracks, she attunes to it. And she meets a strange being on the moon. Her whole consciousness is astro projected onto the moon. And she meets this strange being known as the Answer, who we'll soon learn. The Answer asked to be let in while Azealia was close to one of the obelisks so that he could go home. As this is all happening, we're kind of like freaking out, you're kind of in this meditative state, I think, and we're trying to figure out what the fuck to do. And Zephyrus and some of the other party members are not in the room while this is happening, so she sees pulsing lights under the door, but wasn't too sure of what was happening. Grog was in the room with I think Shadow, your tiger, was in there, and I went for the circlet to try and take it off your head because I think you were reacting weird.
Weren't my eyes white, completely white? I thought, what?
Yeah, I think this is during your astral projection. And when I grabbed the circlet, I also met the Answer for a brief moment, but not for as long. And Grog was definitely... This is where Grog kind of turned from this, just a barbarian, nothing scares me, to holy fuck, what is that?
And I didn't know that was going to happen either. I wasn't trying to do anything.
Right. You're just checking it out.
You were checking it out.
Yeah. So after this kind of subsides, everyone decides to take a rest. We're going to rest for the night. And we decide to take watch. We're on rotation. Grog went up first with Zephyrus. Not Zephyrus, with Zool. Remember earlier I had talked about how Zool is not a great guy, but we still need to kind of work together. So Grog and Zool went up first for their rotation. So during my watch, I saw Zool leave the barracks and leave for a period of time. And he shortly returned, sheathing one of his daggers. And I didn't really mention the trinkets, but one of his abilities that he has is he can pull I don't know if it's a spectral dagger from his eye, or if it's a physical thing that he can just boop, he can do that. But he sheathed his dagger back in his eye, explaining to Grog that Maeve will no longer be a problem, and kind of
mechanically for the folks at home, the dagger that you can pull out is a packed weapon, effectively.
Gotcha. Thank you, Daniel, from the back.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I should preface this too. When we were kind of coming up with watch assignments, Grog and Zool had this kind of moment alone, having discovered what their plan was, what Maeve's plan was with these Warforged and what she was learning and studying and stuff like that. Like, we had decided by ourselves, like, she needs to be disposed of. Like, what she's doing here is not cool, and should be stopped. So, Grog took the first watch while Zool did his thing. Once the next morning, we left Zelane Proudfoot with the skyship after she asked the party to convince Maeve, the necromancer, to release release her men who are zombies. No response from Maeve, which you didn't investigate, and Grog persuaded Zelane to let the dead rest. And I did. I definitely was like, hey, they're fucking dead. Let them be dead. I said it in a way nicer way, I think, if I remember correctly.
You were very convincing.
Yeah. The party then leaves, headed towards the peak. And this, Hallie, next section is titled The Climb.
Yes.
This climb,
Miley Cyrus.
this is the... so there's 20,000 feet of solid ice, snow, and mountaintop that the party is trying to surpass. In doing this climb, the party had to
Oh my god.
it's the climb. No, I'm gonna get demonetized. No, oh god, copyright strike.
No.
Oh no.
No, we're gonna get copy struck.
Oh no. I definitely
I
wasn't.
just want to be nice background music.
I definitely wasn't singing Earth, Wind, and Fire, waiting for people to join. Anyway, so the party in doing this trek had to complete several challenges, roll many a die, in order to climb this wall of ice.
So I remember back when we were doing this that just to put it in perspective, I just Googled it again. So the mountain you said is 20,000 feet tall.
Yep.
So Everest is 29,000 feet tall.
So just a
So it's really pretty fucking tall.
pretty fucking tall. So once, and like, I also remember this too. I remember the party being relatively not nervous, but concerned because with Grog especially, like, he grew up in this environment being very cold, and he has like natural resilience to like cold damage. The rest of the party doesn't. And so I think over time we had to make, or the party had to make conservation. Constitution saving throws. Oh my gosh.
Look, did you really not think of that word?
Yes, I know. Constitution saving throws to hopefully succeed against the cold damage. And then also to trying to find different ways to climb the mountain. I remember Grog, I think, used like his hand axes as kind of like ice picks, and we tied ourselves to one another. I think Haley turned into a ferret at one point.
Oh my gosh, that's right. That
Or a-
cute little fuzzy white thing.
Or a weasel, a snow weasel.
That's like a snow. Was it a weasel?
It definitely was
What
something.
Was it called?
It was straight
That
up.
was-
You turned into Pan from, His Dark Materials.
Yeah.
Straight up, Pine Martin.
Yep.
I thought it would help, but it just made my hands even tinier. So like, just didn't. I thought it would be good
You thought.
Ended up not having big enough hands to hold the rope.
That is. Yep. But we succeeded.
Ruin and you learn.
Only Zool and Eldon received one level of exhaustion by the end of it. So.
I think you had to hold me, didn't you? Had to grab
I
me at
definitely-
one point the rope slipped or
I
something?
think at some point I had my hand on the rope. I had you and your tiger in my hand. And,
Oh my gosh, yes.
and Shadow is a large saber-toothed tiger, right?
Yes, because you were it was the enlarge reduce spell.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think I cast enlarge on you, so you were.
Yeah,
bad enough
that's
to
what it-
carry my
that's it.
tiger.
So like Grog naturally is like 7 or 8 feet tall. So large reduce, like you can double your size. So Haley just made me fucking 15 feet tall.
You just-
Big boy. To pick everybody
We're
up.
climbing a mountain. Let's make Grog huge.
Huge, right? So once we reach the top,
made it huge so he could carry my tiger. That's
Yeah.
really like. Let me just.
and a large cat, naturally good at climbing,
Nah.
needed some
He's
extra
definitely
assistance.
Not a snow leopard tiger. It's fine. He's
Nope.
fine.
Once we reached the top, the party decided a plan after reaching a grove of sylvan oak. And this next section is titled "A Grove of Sylvan Oak." Azelia's character communes with Kinvara. You learned that the answer had been locked away on Sela, the smaller moon of Salandran, by the 3 ancient heroes. Each of the heroes created a key to seal the lock on the answer. And I can't remember the types of keys, but I'm going to read these bullet points, and if they make sense, great. If not, we can ask the DM because he's here. Each of the heroes created a key to seal the lock on the answer. The staff and the rod were taken by the Silverenth Empire hundreds of years ago. We later learned that these were made by the Forsaken, the first sorcerers of the Slandran, who stole the ambrosia from Mount Celestia. So I'm assuming the staff and rod are 2 keys.
Correct.
Great. See, I fucking know, guys. I know. I don't just roll dice and
And
look pretty.
and you guys actually you saw them embedded in the body of the Warforged in that projection.
Yes. Okay, it's all coming back to me now. Elven druids kept the stone secret and safe from the Silverenth Empire for thousands of years. The stone being the Moonstone Circlet. Kinvara was the last to hold the Moonstone, which Haley has described. Eldritch Zool's Eldritch Zool's name isn't his own. Oh, what did you make? You did not, chat. Oh my god. My girlfriend loves me. They smell delightful.
That's incredible.
Wow. What a time to be
Wow.
alive.
I went to the store.
Finally.
You did go to the
Oh my God.
store. Now I'm gonna
Wait, I missed it. What'd she bring you?
cinnamon buns.
Do you want a paper towel?
Cinnamon buns.
Probably.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn
Oh
my
my
mic
gosh.
off or my camera off so I don't eat directly into the camera.
But come on, some
Let's
people
turn
like
this
that.
turn into a mukbang.
Okay, hold on, real quick. D&D aside, during the pandemic, my mom got so fucking bored she installed Twitch on her phone and looked up mukbanging videos.
Gibbs, you want to stay in here?
My mom is 57 years old. And
she was 55 at the time.
she was 55 at the time. She was young. She was innocent. She didn't know. And she had seen something on Facebook, Reels, whatever Facebook's equivalent of
Millie?
whatever the videos are at the time. And she just saw these people eating fucking plates of food, and she goes, isn't that neat?
Come on, Millie.
So,
Enjoy.
thank you. I love you.
Love you too.
I'm a read, everyone.
I'm a Reed and Mackenzie. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna just take a real quick little bite. Oh my gosh, they're so gooey. Wow.
BRB driving to Seth's.
A plus. Who said that?
Me.
Oh.
He lives like 5 minutes from me.
Yeah. Okay. So, we learned that the rod and staff were taken by the Empire hundreds of years ago, locked away. And Kinvara... Millie? You're meowing. Kinvara was the last to hold the Moonstone, which, Azealia told us... Hold on, my cat is just going nuts. Talk amongst
Oh
yourselves.
my gosh. I heard her. Aww.
Millie. She wants the cinnamon buns.
Oh boy. Well, so do you? I don't have.
Millicent.
I got answers galore. If you guys have stuff, do you want to know stuff that you've missed?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had investigated the blue light that was coming through, you would have seen that Camilla, that Zephyra saw underneath the door.
Okay.
Camilla had been in the process of doing a ritual. You could have gotten a little bit of information about the a faction that you guys haven't met yet. But basically, she was one of the bad guys, and so you missed a little bit of that. Investigating Camilla not being around in the morning when you tried to ask her to like release those people. Her body was just dead upstairs, and because Zool had murdered her in the night, and you guys just peaced out. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and just had to be like, okay, you guys are on your way. You just left this necromancer with a bunch of this stuff. And if you had gone through, if you had gone through in the morning, you would have seen that Zool had gone in and burned all of the like books and scrolls and basically anything that was flammable in that like laboratory. He had burned it all.
He did give some hints about that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that piece specifically in my little
Definitely wanted to do
one
that.
session.
We knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I did mention when we were doing our one-on-one.
Yep.
Because of course, yet another like note that I've had for a long time was like, one day I'll do one thing sort of like this where I'd like go back and be like, here's the things that you've missed. But those are just the small pieces. I will say the one thing that you guys missed that I was kind of bummed about is that you skipped helping Betsy in Cluehbridge because she basically had like a more powerful poison that could have done like what you guys had originally wanted to do, like in terms of like poisoning Zool like via contact. But instead of helping her, like we'll do this for you if you'll do this for us, you just decided to go fight in the arena, and I scrambled and looked up homebrew arena
Oh my god.
setting, and had to scrap like a rescue adventure. And that's the other big thing that you guys just kind of like diverted, where I tried to telegraph, hey, this woman is willing to help you and she's a good person.
Don't
We're
trust
like,
her.
nah. we're
And
not
you
gonna-
instead went to hang out with the assassins.
Yeah. Good people don't exist in
Nice.
D&D.
Nice.
Wow. Okay. This next section is a lot of bullet points. So I will try to read them and go over them one at a time. So we learned that Zul's name isn't his name. It was actually taken by the Queen of Air and Darkness. And goodbye, Daniel.
Had enough.
As part of his pact, I believe with the Queen, she took his name or had his memory wiped. I can't remember exactly, Daniel. The importance of Zul's name.
So names are it's come up a couple times in the current adventure, but names are a big thing in the Feywild and for the Fey, and part of making a pact as Zul did as a warlock of the Archfey with them is taking someone's name, because without their sort of like true a person's true name sort of in the Feywild, if that Archfey is the only person that has that person's name, that warlock's name, no other Archfey can like influence them. So effectively, like, he's protected from any sort of like spell or magic that would like try and scry on him. Because you said like, oh, I'm looking for Eldred Zul, that basically it wouldn't do anything mechanically, because it's like it's a name for a person who doesn't exist.
Sure.
So it was a thing that I pulled from different sort of like folklore, where it's like, ooh, fairies, they'll never tell you their name, or it's like stuff like that, sort of folklore where it was like, okay, cool, yeah, and names having power like that, in the same way that you guys encountered, I don't remember if it was earlier or later, it might have been in the Grove when, I think it was in the Grove when Azilia communed with Kinvara, and Kinvara tried to say Eldred Zul's name, but it just was like blurred out in Azilia's like ears, because she, Kinvara, that is, knew his true name, but no one is able to hear it unless they already know what it is. Is that sort of like magical mechanics of it? But it's sort of something that Ada mentioned in passing. There's sort of like the rules of the Feywild that I cobbled together. One of them being names holding a lot of power, and that's why a lot of the Archfey that you have met, especially like the Royal Fey or Archfeys of the various like domains, the names that they have are sort of like a title, like the Queen of Air and Darkness, so that if they don't have a name, no other Fey or any other like powerful being can use their name against them in that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that would be a fun mechanical thing, actually. We'll peek behind the screen if something in future, if Ada decided to become an Archfey, he would be able to, if you guys didn't basically promise to not tell anyone her name, she could erase her name from your memory.
Would you still remember that person, or would you?
Yeah, you just wouldn't be able to give them a name unless they told you. That's sort of the power of the Archfey, is like giving an Archfey giving you their true name. Like Prince and Hera, Aurora and Borealis, that's not their real names. They have a name that they've chosen or like given themselves, but their true name as an Archfey, they get rid of it.
Wow.
My name's not really Julie.
Yeah.
Same.
My name is actually Grog. Wow.
It's not, though. It's not. And I can't wait for that to be revealed.
No.
What?
Yeah, Grog's just Grog. It was actually literally something we were talking about earlier today. After this, I'll shut up and you can get back into it. But there's certain people that would call you guys different things, like by title or by rank, or various nicknames, but mostly like rank or title. But that's a thing that hasn't happened yet.
Woohoo! Some tea for later sessions. Haha.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn it.
Well, shit.
Well, shit. On that note, let's continue with some of these bullet points. So we also find out with this circlet that Azealia has, the longer she is in possession of it or it's on her person, the more it afflicts or it affects her physically. So for example, like Azealia wears it like a crown. And if she continues to wear it, it has been explained to the party, or at least to her, that she will go blind. I think was it also true that if she wore it anywhere else, it would just affect that part of the body? Like if you wore it like a wrist wrap, or I can't remember. I feel like maybe I had a fever dream about it. But yeah, that was kind of a thing. Of
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, so that was something that sort of mechanically Kinvara told Azealia is the Moonstone circlet is a circlet because Kinvara made it into a circlet for herself.
Yeah.
But each of the other druids and they had made it into their own thing. Basically, when you did that, it would bind it to you, so like couldn't be removed physically.
Yeah.
Except by like she had it as a circlet, it would have been like stuck to her head. It's on your arm, it's stuck on your arm. So Azealia can make it into her own like thing. Yeah, and so it's going to bind to her, and it will become a different magical item.
Woohoo!
Yeah, no longer the circlet, but yeah.
Wow. Holy shit.
Big stuff, folks.
Yep, big stuff. We also find out that the Green Warrior that Azealia has encountered several times is one of the ancient elven heroes who fought the Answer with the help of his two companions. Oh, and then this next bullet talks about how Eldon explored the magical grove, and she met a tiny wood nymph who traded 7 sylvan oak arrow shafts for 7 arrows, which I don't think she's used yet.
No.
Yeah, Eldon. Yeah, he left after a while, and I don't know if they remained in the party possession.
Yeah, whatever. We probably don't need them. They may not be they may be a god-killing piece of ammunition. We don't know.
I wouldn't do something as cruel as that.
Oh, this key thing that this character has and will never be a part of the party again. At the same,
maybe he will reprise his role.
Yeah, maybe. At the same time, Ada talked with the spirit of King Adrin, who revealed he is actually he is actually they, in quotes, the spirits of those who have died near Ada, including a vision of Maeve with Zul's obsidian dagger plunged into her heart. My gosh, do we want to dissect that bullet? Because that's kind of important too. After touching one of the trees, Ada was brought back to a memory of her time years ago as a song maiden in the army of the Autumn Court, where she was a sole survivor of an ambush and witnessed the King Adrin the Peaceful, the ruler of the Autumn Court, and hospitality incarnate, killed by rebels at the base of a golden tree before fleeing into a dense, misty forest. Their discussion revealed that King Adrin's spirit is tied to that tree, and Ada, because of her promise to stop the Autumn Court from descending into a civil war, is unfulfilled. It became clear that the echo of the rift that was opened by the Silvermouth Empire in their capital city of Enlacenor caused the withering in the Feywild. It became clear that the echo of the rift that was opened by the Silvermouth Empire in their capital city of Enlacenor caused the withering of the Feywild, a sickness that made the orchards and gardens of the Autumn Court fail and poisoned the hearts of King Adrin and the other Eladrin, making them cruel and spiteful, whose actions led to a rebellion of the Critterfolk and the Civil War. Holy shit, I don't remember this at all. Also, in the same experience, Ada learned that the Raven Queen, the goddess of life and death, had been watching her progress as a cleric and will meet Ada at the same time as she meets all others at the end of her life. Wow. Oh yes,
Yeah,
she has a different appearance too. Yep.
Yeah, that was a big one of the first, I think, big reveals for sort of a preview of the Feywild arc that you guys are on. Was in that sort of in that moment.
Wow. Yes. So once Ada was finished with her communication with the spirits, she returned to the camp from the woods, and Ada was taken on. Oh, she has taken on a winter Eladrin form. Blackened eyes, near translucent skin, freckles that shimmer as constellations across her face, and a frozen ice-like haircut with baby bangs. Azealia then questioned Zool about why the Queen of Air and Darkness wanted the circlet, and he told you he was on a fool's errand sent to accomplish an impossible task in return for changing his heart. And then kind of what Daniel had said, we also learn that the Queen of Air and Darkness took his name and one eye so that she could keep an eye on him, essentially. We also have here that Eldon has an understanding of the magic of the Fae, and that is quite simply that they do what they want for no regard for mortals, morals, or consequences. So the Fae is kind of like the Wild West. They are whimsical and difficult to comprehend. They just are. Zool then explains exactly what happened in the laboratory. Kinvara Urzak then proceed to draw cards from the deck of many things. And a disastrous encounter ended with Eldritch Zool's last sight of the material plane. Was Kinvara sacrificing herself to save him. As Zool finished his tale, Shadow came back from fetching something with some magical wood that could be made into a staff or weapon handle, and Ada told the party the rules of the Fey Court, found in Roll 20, which we'll get into sometime.
Might shuffle off.
Yeah,
things.
that's okay.
It's a little late, but this was fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll probably, there's a couple more sections, and then I'll probably finish up. But
Oh, cool.
thanks for stopping by.
Yes. Good night.
Bye.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
I think I'm also gonna leave.
Okay.
Peace out.
Bye, Hallie.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
See you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
Monday.
Monday. Okay, where are we? I'm trying to remember when they drew a card from the deck of many things. That disastrous encounter, was that just Urzak? And he drew cards from the deck of many things. And a disastrous encounter ended with Eldritch Zool's last sight of the material plane. Oh, was that when he died?
He did not die. Sort of the way that shook out was Kinvara died. He sort of basically explained that they found this deck of many things in the laboratory. Urzak drew a card without knowing what it was. He disappeared.
Yes.
And then Zool picked it up, drew a card. He ended up drawing two cards beyond. One changed his heart. One summoned the demon, basically, with this portal to the plane of Pandemonium, which was just like sucking in all of the like air in this space. And then basically Kinvara used a power of her circlet, which Haley will have access to shortly when she binds herself to it, to basically like cast a supercharged moonbeam. And Zool was pushed out. So like the last thing he saw was Kinvara, like it says, burning herself to kill this demon. Yeah, so
wow,
the most disastrous encounter, not entirely a TPK, but
yeah,
when your two best friends have been scattered to who knows where.
pretty bad.
Yep, it's pretty fucking bad.
Pretty bad. So as the journey continues, we're actually on the last leg. We get to the keep. It's more or less a castle, and more like in the notes it says it's more like a massive vacation home. As the party explores one wing of the castle that is still standing, you meet White Claw the Unbearable, who is essentially he's the dragon that we had encountered, or at least saw flying around the mountaintop. We overheard some bad poetry. The party then kind of splits. I think some of us are still talking to White Claw, and Azealia and Zephyrus explore the rest of the castle, and they found Urzak, the half-orc bard. He's a friend of Zool's and father to Hogaz, one of our old party members. And he was trapped in a magical sphere. We then released Urzak. His shouting alerted White Claw, and we then fought him. It is important to note that, quote, y'all did 100 plus points of damage in each round. So we're pretty cool. We're pretty awesome. And then once we defeated the dragon, once we defeated White Claw, there was a moment, I think, for Grog, because we realized, like, okay, now that we're here, we're about to enter the Feywild. This is kind of the last stop. And Grog, in remembering back to his moment with grabbing the circlet at the laboratory, he had witnessed the answer for a moment. And that truly terrified him, I think, in a lot of ways. You know, growing up being the biggest, meanest thing around, you don't really get terrified by a whole lot, especially in encountering monsters, monstrosities, fiends, undead, all of that stuff. So when he met this absolutely ginormous being, almost godlike, probably to him, he was truly terrified, I think. And I think for Seth, me personally, I think this is where I almost wrote Grog out. I hadn't talked to Daniel. Actually, I don't even think Daniel knows this. I didn't want to play Grog anymore for like a little while, and I was like,
"Fate ain't so."
Yeah, I was like, I think this is where he's gonna go, because like he's just got a lot going on, and I don't know, something about the character at the time. It like, I don't know. I think having played different campaigns, I think I was so used to spell casting and doing different things and being able to spider climb or shoot firebolt, and Grog is just smashy smash, which I thought for this campaign, like, it's new people, I'll just do something really easy. Barbarians are pretty easy. So originally I was like, I don't know what to do. So Daniel, I messaged him frequently in figuring out what we could do to do with Grog. And this is kind of where Grog takes a step back from his barbarian ways, I guess, and we explore multi-classing. I had kind of thought about maybe going with like a fighter originally, but I was like, no, that's more or less the same than what he does already. So I think Daniel actually presented a paladin multi-class, and we had talked about his backstory a little bit, and like if he worships any deities and or has a religious sort of background. And I personally have a love for Greek mythology and Norse mythology and all of that stuff, and the backstory of Atlas has always been really cool because he is this titan who was, he tried to rise up against the gods and was punished and was forced to hold up the heavens and the planet, or the heavens and the earth. So I figured that would be really cool for Grog because, one, he's big, two, he's mean, and I think for a lot of his kind of upbringing, he is just so used to being the biggest and strongest thing that he will physically carry everything, but also to, if people come to him with things, he will carry those emotions, those hardships, those whatever is afflicting those people, and he kind of is very, I think, closeted, empathic, whatever, in that way. Like, he doesn't really show his emotions a whole lot. So this for him was really like, how am I, this giant, this person, supposed to fight that, right? And so this is when Grog takes a multi-class couple levels in Paladin. And I think we went originally with like Oath of Redemption or something like that. Because also too, I think in Grog's backstory, he's trying to redeem himself. He's been fighting for almost half of his life, demons, other people's battles, and he just wants to go home. He's kind of that retired, like, I'm too old for this shit kind of guy. Lethal Weapon. Kind of like, I think this is my last ride kind of thing. So in communing with Atlas, which that whole, not even the whole thing, but a bit of it, the one-off that we just did, was really insightful in his kind of upbringing, because with his werebear, which is a whole other topic, his group of people, his tribe that he lived with, saw that lycanthropy, curse, gift. There was two sides of it. Some people thought it was really good and you could use it as a tool. Some people thought it was a curse. Grog, I think, for a long time, I think when he initially discovered it, it was a curse, and then more or less realized, like, oh, it's just an extension of my own body. But in realizing, like, it's something that he has to carry. Like, he has this other beast, this being inside of him that he has to figure out how to cope with. Which, if you haven't seen the individual session with Daniel and I, you should watch that because it's awesome. It goes into, it's all Grog all the time. And now my feelings of Grog have changed, and having played him for fucking 2 years, he's my favorite character I've ever played. So if you have those feelings about your character, talk to your DM. They can help. Ask for questions. Ask questions. No question is a dumb question. Cool. Once we enter the Feywild, we are then brought in front of the Queen of Air and Darkness, and we meet her. She then presents us with Eldritch Zul's past actions, including the murder of former crew of Zephyrus's pretty recently, I believe, before she joined us. You are not giving me another cinnamon roll. Oh, wow. I love you.
Half.
Thanks. Did you eat the other one?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, there are two over there. But anyway, I love you. I will shut off my camera and eat this. But I don't want people to watch. So the queen then changed Zul's heart and disintegrated him. After she had realized, your services are no longer required.
Tiny correction. That was part of the deal.
Oh, yes, it was part of the deal. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I mean, you're always right. You fucking wrote it.
Hey.
Hey, I may not get...
This isn't a test. This isn't a test. I'm just making sure that the folks at home...
they know what's happening.
They know what's happening.
Yeah.
You didn't just dust him for no reason.
Your boy got Thanos.
Yeah, the boy got Thanos, but he wanted her to after she changed his heart back.
Yeah. So once that happened, we learned that the Green Warrior was one of the ancient heroes named Alandor. Is that the same one that Azealia has come into contact with, or is that another one?
It's the very same.
It is the very same. Okay.
Yep.
The queen was held captive by the Answer and freed by Alandor and his companions. That's important to know. We then learned that the queen constructed the Moonstone to help the heroes lock the Answer on the moon, and kind of as a contract that we have with the queen. We agreed to prove our worth by retrieving her son from the magic stepstones that lead up into the wellspring where we are currently. And the stepstones, they're a series of floating islands that carry the wellspring of primordial magic across the Feywild. And in doing this, there's a whole sequence of events with her son and Daniel. You can absolutely jump in. With the son has a love interest between him and this woman who Camilla, yeah. And
sorry to the Camillas out here.
Yeah.
Who are super, super nice. This Camilla, super not a good person.
Super not okay. Yeah. Wow. That cinnamon roll, delicious.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So Camilla is the Prince and Hera that you have all been tasked to recover and bring back. Is basically, I should say, is warlock. So is now no longer a warlock because of some of the magical shenanigans of the wellspring that the party has just gone through. The prince is no longer an archfey, and Camilla is no longer a warlock or a human.
She is something else entirely.
Yeah.
I know what she is.
Grog knows, but I believe we ended it on that Grog did not tell the rest of the party.
Ooh.
I think I'm remembering it correctly. My notes are a little bit scattered from that last session.
Did you message me?
There was a lot happen.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Yeah. that was Rocks, Gauntlet, and I had a lot going on in that one.
But that
Next one, we will be,
yeah.
That is the story so far. Title of the stream. Title of the episode.
hell yeah.
Um,
And you can end it here.
it's 3 hours, almost to the dot.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's the story so far, including a lot of world stuff.
Yes.
Um,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
about
Yeah.
the world.
We
Awesome
could.
that you did this, man.
Yeah.
Happy to stick around. Do you have questions for me? Things you want clarified that you think the audience should know?
I don't really think so. Like, I don't have any questions.
Okay, sweet.
If the audience has questions, so this video, this stream, once we're done, I'm immediately uploading it to YouTube because it is 3 hours long, and we all don't have 3 hours to sit around and talk about D&D, listen to D&D. So you all can watch it along with all the other. There will be a playlist for D&D stuff, so you can check that out. If you have questions about anything that's going on, please feel free to leave a comment. I sound so much like a content creator. I hate it. You should comment on that video. You can DM me on Twitch or Instagram or whatever, and we can talk about stuff. I personally don't have any questions. Daniel, thank you so much for creating this world, as always, and letting the 6 of us be a part of it.
Hell yeah, man.
Because it's awesome. I have played and been a part of several other campaigns in recent history, and this by far is my favorite.
Which I am so honored.
It's amazing. Just you as a person and being so open to new ideas and just creative juices flowing between us. Like, I know I was saying this earlier, but like, I can literally just text you and bounce like ideas off and like say, hey, I think I want to do this, or I want to try this, or something. And like, we either work it out, we figure it out, how it works in the campaign. Is it game breaking? Because a little bit of backstory, people, like this, we said this in our first stream. If you don't like the way we play, you can leave. Like, plain and simple. Like,
yeah, it's all good.
It's all good.
It's, yeah. If you like it, stick around. If not, there's a million other things that you can watch. But we have our own brand of D&D that we play, and in truth, part of the reason that I try and make this as fun as possible for you guys and me is because I miss hanging out with you guys. And the original party was truly, it was all people from Maine who I hadn't seen in literally years, and it was the middle of the pandemic, and a little bit of like DM lore for me was basically, I wanted to hang out with my friends. I couldn't because they all lived in Maine and I lived in Massachusetts. So I started doing this and have basically kept it going. We only do 2-hour sessions, unlike a lot of tables where it's you sit down on Sunday and you do, 4.5 hours, which is just fucking impossible to do with an online game. It's exhausting. We did that maybe 2 times, doing like 4-hour sessions, and you're just dead at the end of it.
Oh yeah.
In person, easy to go those like marathon 4 to 6 hours. It just flies by.
Mm-hmm.
But truly, part of the reason that I have done so much in this world and want this to keep going is because the game time that we have put in compared to other campaigns where it's like, oh, it ends after like a couple of months when you reach level like 10, maybe like level 7 or whatever, and the GM's like, all right, this is the thing, and we're done.
Yeah, this is it.
I, in truth, I hope this goes. I mean, I hope. I would love it if you guys just kind of keep it going and eventually kill the Void Dragon or its followers. I don't know where you want to end up doing this, but you know, if he's something crazy like a CR 27 thing, and we gotta get you guys up to that demigod, 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe even. Get those 9th level spell slots for the druid and the sorcerer.
Oh my god, yeah.
So you guys can go toe to toe with some ancient deity beings from beyond the stars.
Yeah. My hope for Grog now is to die on the field of battle in the most glorious of way. Either in giving up his final lay on hands to somebody in the party so that they can carry on the mission, essentially.
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. If, in truth, because I homebrewed a spell for Ada, in fact, gosh, now I'm thinking the name of the spell. But basically, it's her ritual spell that she got as the final tier of her boon. I believe it's "Thou shalt not die alone."
Oh. What?
Because you weren't there for it, so you didn't get to hear it. It is mechanically, honestly, I will pull it up now so that you know what it is, because I just realized everyone else was able to hear everything, but you.
Oh my gosh.
You don't know what anyone else got.
I have
in the Wellspring boon.
No idea.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. That's
the only one
okay.
I know is mine and Rock.
Yeah, because you got rocks. Okay, so I'll run through here really quick.
Okay.
I'll just do the last one. She has a bunch of other stuff. I'll send you the description. But it's the spell is called My Life for You, 5th level necromancy. It's a ritual for 8 hours. Touch, verbal, somatic material. The duration is 1 year. The material components is a pair of avian bone jewelry of your choice. You have bound yourself to a willing ally by performing a ritual with them over 8 hours. When you or your ally fail a death saving throw on the same plane of existence, you may use a reaction to take the death saving throw failure to allow a reroll. Taking the death saving throws while conscious has no effect unless you take enough failures to die. If your bonded ally is the target of the power word kill spell or similar spell or ability that would kill them instantly, you may use your reaction to die instead. Binding yourself to an ally lasts for 1 year and cannot be dispelled except by the wish spell or a similar act of powerful magic interference.
Are you
Man,
fucking
I gotta
for
say,
real?
I love it when you make that face that's just like, oh shit.
Dude, that's my oh my fucking word.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. The you got Rock's one. Their 5th level one was the Touch the Weave.
Hmm.
And did Haley tell you about what her 5th tier one for Azilia? So this is Empowered Companion. It's 4th level transmutation. It's a ritual cast. She has 2 versions of this. One is Warg and one is Heighten.
Mm-hmm.
Warg, your bond with Shadow is empowered by the Wellspring. Your body is incapacitated while you work in the Shadow. I've made a relevant stat block with skills, abilities, actions, and innate spell casting that use your proficiency bonus in a number of cases. You can end the spell as an action if the dispel of magic or similar spell is cast on Shadow your incapacitated body is damaged, or your body is more than 1 mile from shadows, the spell ends. That's one version. It's called Warg. The
Oh
other
my
version is
God.
Titan. Channeling the magic of the Wellspring, Shadow becomes temporarily under the effects of the Awaken spell and acts on his own initiative in combat. Additionally, he gains ability scores, increases proficiencies, abilities, and actions that also use your proficiency bonus in a number of cases. If Dispel Magic or a similar spell is cast on Shadow, the spell ends. Higher levels, casting this at 6th level increases Shadow's size to huge, and at 8th level to gargantuan.
Holy shit!
And that applies to both the Warg and the Heightened. So if she wargs in him using a 6th level, she becomes, it's a huge shadow.
Oh my God.
And the 8th is gargantuan. Yeah. And yeah, I'll just do the fire resist last
Sure.
tier 1 as well, because I've done everyone else. This is Leaf on the Wind. You focus your mind and reach to your ancestors of the plane of air to become insubstantial or untouchable for 1 minute. It's not a spell because they don't have spell casting for rogues, basically. So it's just an ability. It's a once a day. 2 versions of this. Insubstantial. You and your equipment become semi-transparent. You can use a bonus action to escape the restrained or grappled condition or leave the prone condition without using your movement. After using your bonus action to do this, your weapon attacks deal half damage, rounded down, until the beginning of your next turn. Moving like the wind, this is untouchable. Moving like the wind makes you harder to hit, but it's harder for you to touch the ground. You can use a reaction to force disadvantage on non-magical attacks against you until the end of your turn. After using your reaction to do this, your walking speed is halved until the end of your next turn. So, yeah.
Oh my God.
She can also fly with a new ability called Skyward, which she can cast on someone else. It's another long one, but it's very cool. You should ask her what it is.
Wow.
Or that. Yeah, everyone got those little cards that I sent you in the mail.
I got them.
Yeah.
Wow. I did have a question about Fist of the Giant.
Yeah, what's up?
So my unarmed strike attacks do just flat 4 damage. So when I make... Because this counts as a spell, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you empower an unarmed strike with the strength of allies behind it. On a hit, the target takes a d12 of force damage and must pass a strength save against your spell save DC or be pushed back 5 feet. So does the d12... Is that a d12 plus 4? Because it does... 4...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a smite, effectively. I was going to call it like Giant Smite or something, but I didn't want that to be too confusing because it's like a paladin thing, but it's a Wellspring thing.
Yeah. Wow. And I hope this
so
isn't...
it's 4 plus the d12. Yeah.
Wow. I also didn't know if this was game breaking, but if I use Divine Smite as a bonus action, can I...
Well, that spell is a bonus action.
Ah, shit. Oh, it is a bonus action.
Yeah.
Crap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you action to attack, and then you bonus action to do the Fist of the Giant.
So if I have 2 attacks, one can get empowered by the Fist. Fist of the Giant.
Yeah, so you could do a regular attack, and then you could do an unarmed strike if you have 2 attacks.
Wow.
Yeah. And you can, of course, flavor it however you want. It doesn't have to be just like a fist. You can hit someone in the chest or whatever. But,
I did also want to put this out there too, that when I went into Grog's feats for the new Wellspring ability, one option is for a new language, and the other one is a spell that he can learn on the Paladin list, I think. It won't let me add those 2 things. So
weird.
So I was just gonna write them down. I can't go into add spells anywhere.
Oh yeah, no, so I'm gonna look at your sheet real quick.
Yeah.
If you pull it up, I can actually guide you towards where it is. It's weird because I tried to. It's confusing the way that I said to do this. You have to go to features and traits, scroll all the way down to manage feats, and then add, like, click the divine magic of the wellspring, and click add, because you already had another feat here, correct?
Oh, yes. Okay. I see.
Yeah,
I'm in
so
there
that was
now.
the thing that I tried to describe to people, but it didn't work out. So if you had like Mage Slayer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you go back into your character sheet and change Divine Magic of the Wellspring back to Mage Slayer, in the like character builder section for the 8th level, or whatever the 4th level, whatever feat you had before.
Yep.
And then you come into this manage feats thing, then you just scroll down, click add, and then you'll have the option, like you can click on rare language, pick one of those. I believe I said, celestial, infernal, or abyssal. So. Yep, and then increase, and then you have all of those spells. And whichever spell that is, you'll basically it'll always be prepared.
Gotcha.
So I gave it sort of as an option so that you could just have Fist of the Giant, always prepared.
Gotcha.
If you so choose. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so if I go back into the character, I guess I didn't give him, where was that feat? Where did I put that? Oh, I must have accidentally picked ability score, so I'll go back and put Mage Slayer, and then, right? Is that what you said? I can have Mage Slayer and Divine Wellspring?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did it. I was going to do it as like, you get a spell and you can add this stuff, and I was like, I'll just make it a feat for Divine, Arcane, and Primal.
Gotcha.
And then you just have to like add it to your sheet manually instead of doing it through your character sheet, like character creator thing. Which I don't know if everyone did. I think people got confused and like removed stuff. So I might just have to pop through and be like, all right, I need to fix this for peeps.
Yeah, it's all good. That actually was super helpful, because I was like, okay, I see that I've added it, but nothing is popping up for me to pick. So that was helpful.
There you go. Yeah, now I can see it.
Heck yeah.
Abyssal, Charisma, Thaumaturgy, Inflict Wounds. Sick.
I know we talked at the end kind of RP style, because we want to... The party is very conflicted about Faebane, and I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally understand. And I'm willing to part with it.
Yeah, man.
So, I was going to RP something that, like, Grog gives... Originally, I was just going to have Grog throw the axe at her, very dismissive-like, but I was like, no, I'll give it to you, and I'll say some fucking shit, and we can get rid of it. I also thought about bringing it back to the Queen and having her deal with it. But I don't know if that would start some shit.
I think...
I wanted to present it in a intimidating way, as like a, hey, I am giving you this weapon of war, and you can deal with it as you wish.
I mean, if you remove the thing from yourself, the prince did say it's specifically made to like kill stuff. You know what it does now because you attuned yourself to it. Mm-hmm. So if you remove the attunement and then just keep it on you and promise that you won't do it, you might just have to convince the folks that you're with, or the other option might be to like give it to someone else to have them hold on to it. I think would be where Grog is at. But obviously you can do that in like an RP sense, but like in a meta sense, like Grog thinking this through, that would probably be like the two options that would come to mind.
Give it to someone like Rock, or give it to someone like in the Feywild?
If you wanted to bring it to the Queen, probably give it to someone else
Sure.
who's not going to attune to it. Or, I mean, wherever you guys end up, you could just like stick it in the ground somewhere. I leave it up to you. I think Grog would probably think of one of those two things, or just like huck it into a river or something.
Yeah. I also thought, like, we're still at the wellspring, right? And you had mentioned that anything magical that touches it becomes non-magical. I thought about just doing that too.
Yeah, that the magic of the wellspring basically will make anything that is not an artifact non-magical, and that was created by I think it should be a purple or legendary item. It's not an artifact.
It is
or a
gold.
artifact. Okay, it's orange.
Orange, yeah.
Legendary. Yeah, so it's legendary. Yeah, legendary. It's not an artifact.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's like super. It's super fucking cursed.
Super fucking cursed.
Super fucking cursed, but also does a shitload of damage.
Yep. 2d10 cold damage on top of. Hold on. Let me read this description again.
Yeah, and the fucking the execution thing is the biggest thing.
Oh yeah.
I pulled that from the Vorpal sword. So it's like Vorpal sword meets Battle Axe of Hatred meets yeah, it's a bad fucking time.
But so when it says it can only do lethal damage, that's only lethal damage to Fae, right?
No, just
in general.
Overall. Yeah, that was why I was very curious what was going to go down, because when you hit him and you were like, I'll do non-lethal damage when you guys were fighting, and I was like,
what is that doesn't exist here.
Yeah, it was like, that's I'm gonna say, like, I literally would have said like, oh yeah, you go to like conk him over the head, but like you feel the axe like shift, like the way, like the swing of your arm, and you just like cut his throat or whatever, or just like, yeah, or just like you basically just like slash his throat with the axe or something, instead of you're just like, I'm just gonna go bonk him with the like flat of the blade. Yeah, or it would just be like, oh, he just like dies from the magic.
So it does a d6 plus 6 plus 2d10 cold damage.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And that's just one attack, and it has the returning weapon.
Oh my god, why would I get rid of this thing? Because
you literally
I have disadvantage on 4 things.
Yeah, and so it's literally you right click and then just hit disadvantage and then roll every goddamn time. And that wasn't nat 20, but punch game.
Wow.
The fuck is this?
Oh, are you
No.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
I click launch game and it says there are no maps selected.
Mushroom Cave. The fuck? We just have a VTT now?
I mean, I have VTT. Like if I go to characters again, I can say.
Oh yeah, you have the above VTT, right?
Yeah, I'll click above VTT, and
token.
I'll clear this out.
Nah, dude. There's a straight up. What? They just have a. They just have a thing.
Yeah, wild.
And they just made it, and I can just drop in an abhorrent overlord in here.
Yeah, we can just have one of those. Wild. Wild, Daniel.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Think of the possibilities.
Frustrating that I don't have access in the DM's content library. The fuck? Oh, of course.
Is it a different thing?
Yeah, because it's like looking at what source books I have, and I don't have any of the source books. They're all shared with me, pretty much.
Mm.
Yeah. But okay, that's good to know that Wizards just dropped a VTT.
Sick.
I mean, pretty rad, but
Pretty rad. Indeed.
yeah,
Wow.
indeed.
Okay. Well, it is 10:30. We've been going for about 3 hours and 30 minutes.
We have. You can for sure. You know how I would for sure scrub through and add chapters to it.
Oh, to this?
So folks do actually. Yeah, because you went through those different sections, like cities, towns, and all that. So I personally prefer it when I see a YouTube video, and I know it's like super long.
Yeah.
So like video essays and stuff, they'll break it up by like part by part.
Oh.
So if you can do that and just scrub through and find like the demarcations for where you did like here's the world, here's the chronicles of the party.
So maybe I won't upload this to YouTube yet.
Hmm?
Maybe I won't upload this to YouTube then. Yeah. Because I was just going to take the raw footage from this and just bloop, send it.
Oh yeah, I mean I think you can. I think the chapter thing is like you do it in YouTube's like video editor.
Oh yeah, okay. I can just do that then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because then you can like you throw the whole thing up and then you trim like you can trim all this shit at the end, but just like yeah, basically you can do like I know you can bring like the start point and end point in.
Yep.
And then I'm pretty sure there are just like a chapter marker button that you can like scrub through and be like chart like marker here. You give it like a name.
Wow.
I know it exists because I watch lots of video essays. Or I used to. I don't watch as many anymore, but it is a thing that they have.
Gotcha.
It's very useful.
Well, cool shit, my dude.
Yeah, man.
Awesome. Well, I think that calls it a night, folks. If anyone is still there, thanks for hanging in there, I guess. Next week is our actual D&D session, so come and hang out for that. We'll be doing some shit. I know that much.
Yeah. You guys will be, you're kind of in the dark. A bubble has gone over the party as your stepstone has sunk below the quintessence, and you're in just this like dome of darkness, awaiting to be transported somewhere, which I have to figure out the RP thing because I want to have an NPC who's able to tell you some stuff before we get there, because it's going to be a dangerous place.
We like danger.
I want them to give you a little bit of and I hope that the separate channels work out so that you guys are able to use them, and it's not just all happening in one space.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. I think we'll definitely get used to using those, and I mean, obviously, like the little side DMs that we share, like that's always good. But I think the breakout rooms will be good.
Yeah, I just figured because it was like I like talking to you guys, but then we did like 4 or 5 sessions without any combat, and it's like I know we're here to like roll dice and kill stuff, and I'm like, we're into the mode in this next like arc, which is basically I'm calling it like going home.
Yeah.
More or less, where you're gonna end up somewhere else, and you have to basically like it's another sort of survival trek.
Yeah.
For you guys, because you're gonna end up somewhere dangerous, You have to make your way back and like bring the prince back safely. Like finish this quest.
Jeez.
And I want to be able to have the sessions be like we get in, we do like encounters. There's some RP stuff, but questions and like conversations outside of the like being like, oh, you guys are traveling. What do you talk about?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. It can just like prod you with NPCs or the NPCs who are with you, like introduce themselves, or more specifically during downtime, though we don't do like an entire shopping session. It can be like, okay, we're ending here in downtime. We'll do it in the DMs to figure out what you guys want to do. And the next session, we'll pick it up as though basically we'll just say like 2 weeks has happened in game by the time we get back. So it's like in between, we'll do like real time, like it's 2 weeks, and then we pick it up.
I like it.
For downtime in the city. Yeah. Because you haven't had that opportunity for like downtime to do stuff for literally months.
True.
You've just been journeying.
Just been going.
Yeah. And you and Azealia have mentioned or had interest in the strongholds and followers. So
yeah, that'd be cool to explore too. But.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, it is 10:30. Good night.
Good night, sir.
And anyone else who's still watching the stream, so long. Farewell.
Good night.
I'll see you.
Bye. All right, people. That was awesome. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out. Like I said, feel free if you have questions, even during the actual live stream, if you ever have questions, post them in the chat. I can try to answer them. I'll mute myself on the Discord and I'll talk to you guys directly. And I'll attempt to answer any, or maybe even after the stream, we can do like a little like Q&A for a little bit. Like we have our own thing that we do at the end to kind of go over stuff, like what we liked, what we didn't like anyway. But yeah, be sure to share this, like, subscribe, go to YouTube, watch it, share it, all that crap. Join the Discord if you haven't. The Bird's Nest. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, that sort of shit. If this is something you like, or something you didn't like, but you know someone that would, share it.